My name is Judah Clark. My passion in life is taking one long, deep breath and diving as deep as I possibly can to shoot a specific fish. Fish that will feed myself and my family for many meals.
Shot a cabera!
Once I've shot that fish, I then have to battle aggressive bull sharks that want to steal that fish from me and make it back to the surface without passing out from lack of oxygen and ultimately dying. For the past 2 years, my partner in crime has been my beautiful girlfriend, Christine, with an occasional appearance from her twin sister, Victoria. Together, they are the Fisher Twins.
The Fisher Twins!
It's like Beauty and the Beast right here.
We're in this spearfishing competition that only has 4 days left.
Went to 107 foot deep and I felt something pulling on my gun.
The Goliath has it in its mouth. My gun is gone. A shark took it.
We're 10 miles out and spring a leak with oil.
You keep fixing the problems, but the new problems keep arising.
We're in first place.
Yes! Oh,
It's the final hour.
just when you thought it was over.
Storm's coming right for us. This is bad. Oh man, the highs and the lows.
Nobody said it was gonna be easy.
That's what I lay around in bed at night thinking about with a smile on my face. And that's what gets me up early in the morning.
Gonna be an adventure for sure. I know that much.
Well, hey Victoria, Trip. How you doing? Good to see you.
You too.
What's up, buddy? Come here. Yeah, good to see you.
You too.
We haven't seen you since we got back from Cabo.
Yeah, it's been a minute, but that was a fun trip though. Where are we gonna go to next? What about Costa Rica?
You know, Costa Rica would be fun and all, but one thing that I kind of thought of when we were in Cabo was it would have been nice to have my own boat. All the spear guns, equipment. You girls didn't even have the right wetsuit. We had to freeze our butts off. Limited gear. It just wasn't as fun as spear fishing here in Florida, you know? And I feel like we all just kind of got into spearfishing. We have not discovered all that Florida has to offer as far as locations and fish. You know, why are we traveling all over the place when we haven't even figured it out here? I eventually came across the Florida spearfishing tournament online and was amazed by the fish everyone was posting. That's when I realized,
Damn, I need to step it up.
so I got an idea. What if we do the Florida spearfishing tournament?
What's that?
It's basically a tournament that goes on all year long. It's only for fish harvested in Florida waters. The game's from March 1st to December 5th. That's 228 days to hunt and acquire 17 fish. When you shoot these fish, you measure the fish, you take pictures of the measurements in the video, and every inch is a point. Whoever has the most points at the end of the year wins top dog. There's like 250 people that are playing this year, so there's a men and a women's categories, and there's prizes for each one.
I'm in if you're in, Christine. Let's do it, Victoria.
It would be great to see how we sized up against some of Florida's best spearfishing men and women. And it would give us a reason to explore all over Florida. There's only one thing that doesn't sit right with me, is that there's no tuna category. Apparently, to have a fish in the game, there has to be a sponsor willing to donate a prize for that category. And because people don't get tuna very often, there was no sponsorship interest. The exposure would be low, much lower than any other fish category a brand could sponsor. Tuna is the most difficult fish to spear, and because of that, the most rewarding if you get one. There are people spearing their entire lives and still don't have a tuna, and especially from Florida waters.
That doesn't make any sense.
People shoot yellowfin tuna all the time. I know we have yellowfin tuna. Either way, the more I thought about it, the more the little hairs on the back of my neck stood up thinking about me landing one for this game and putting yellowfin tuna on the map for Florida waters.
That would be sick.
So, I decided to sponsor the tuna category. I mean, I don't know how you can have a Florida spearfishing tournament and not have tuna on the roster. And since it's so uncommon, and maybe damn near impossible to land a yellowfin, we agreed to make the sponsorship for blackfin tuna as well, with the wild card of yellowfin. Blackfin is a smaller tuna species and is a lot more common to catch in Florida waters. Still very difficult to spear, but definitely a lot more possible of a task.
I want to sponsor it. All right. Once I agreed to invest in the game, I guess that opened the door for management to reach a little deeper into the well, and they informed me of the lack of interest in sponsors for the female division. They were contemplating on eliminating the female division altogether.
Can't forget about the ladies.
And being such a strong supporter of women and our unique way of life, I stepped up as the sponsor for the women's division as well for an additional $500. And now I had $1,000 on the line.
What is it, like $500? Well, count me in.
Who's gonna get it? You? I don't know. Because I know how competitive each of you are with each other. Now, if I landed the biggest tuna and Christine won first place for the female division, I would save myself $1,000 in total, and that motivated me even more. I was putting a wager on myself and Christine, and knowing Christine is just as competitive as I am, this was going to make things a lot more interesting and fun. Most people put a wager hoping to make money. I was placing a wager not to lose it. In this game, most people hunt from the waters they live close by and maybe travel a little bit here and there. But we decided we were going to travel the entire time, all over Florida. On the road again. I just can't wait to get on the road again. You don't know this song?
I'm singing it like 200 times.
Navigating through thousands of clues and pieces of information to choose locations to hunt was going to be challenging and fun. Picking each new area in Florida by weather conditions, water temperatures, fishing reports, and seasonal patterns of each fish, and more. I've owned my own company for 25 years doing exterior high-rise building restoration, and after many years of hard work, things are running pretty smoothly these days. While I still keep my finger on the pulse of the company, I can work from anywhere as long as we have Wi-Fi. So basically, we're spearfishing nomads at the moment. We put all of our stuff in storage, and now we rent places from anywhere from a week to a month at a time. Florida's an amazing place with so many different types of water. You have the Atlantic Ocean on the east coast, where the Gulf Stream comes in real close, giving you warm, crystal clear blue water right from shore in some areas. You have the Gulf of Mexico, that's a totally different body of water, which also has the Gulf Stream, but much further out. And then you have the Keys, where you can access both bodies of water in the same day. So many wrecks, reefs, and artificial structure to explore up and down both coasts, and I've personally only begun to scratch the surface on my exploration of it. My first priority, I wanted to do something that no one else has ever done before, or at least that I've ever seen. I wanted to shoot a yellowfin tuna in Florida waters, but I didn't know where I was going to find them. So I got on the internet, I started looking around. I first started thinking I should be looking out past the dry Tortugas, and then something caught my eye. I noticed a steep drop-off in the Gulf, and I hit the jackpot. Destin, Florida just installed 8 fads in the Gulf of Mexico, 80 miles out from shore and right on the edge of the drop-off in thousands of feet of water. Instantly, I knew this is where we were going to have the best chance at finding a yellowfin tuna in Florida waters. If you don't know what a fad is, it's a fish attracting device, FAD. It's pretty common in other parts of the world, but has always been outlawed here in the States, until now. These 8 fads are the first ever in the US, and they were just installed under a year ago. Without a doubt in my mind, we had to spend as much time out there as possible. There was just one minor detail. The fads are 80 miles out from shore, and to explore them all would be at least a 200-mile trip in a day. My boat wouldn't make it that far on only a 100-gallon fuel tank, and my motor was getting old. I've run her hard over the years, and the last thing I wanted to do was break down out there. The Gulf can be a dangerous place where the winds and seas can change in the blink of an eye. And finding someone to tow you back could be difficult, if not impossible. So, I placed an order for a 100-gallon fuel bladder and a brand new Mercury Verado outboard motor. What gun would I attempt to shoot a yellowfin with? Yellowfin can get up to 400 pounds, and you can't just shoot them with any old gun. I needed something powerful, something accurate, something made for tuna specifically. I started looking around, and over the years one name has always stood out among the rest: Alemanni, an Italian-made gun. I've always heard they were the best guns in the world, but really expensive. But is saving a few $100 all that important if you've spent thousands of dollars and hundreds of hours getting that one opportunity to shoot a tuna, and your gun could either make or break your chances of landing that fish? Not the place you want to save a buck, in my professional opinion. In all my years of high-rise building restoration, one thing I've learned is that the quality of your equipment is paramount to your success and survival. So, I put in an order for a new spear gun, Alemanni's best of the best, their most powerful gun, the Vela 135 Special demultiplied in carbon fiber. There would be no better gun I could choose, so that's one less thing I had to worry about. We didn't know when we were going to go up to the northern Gulf of Mexico to hunt the tuna. It was dependent on when my equipment would arrive, but I had plenty of work to do now chiseling away at the other 17 fish down here in the Keys. We had spent the holidays in Key West. Check out our scenery. Beautiful marina right here on the water. And prices for hotels were really cheap because no one was traveling because of COVID. But then prices skyrocketed all of a sudden and went from $250 a night to over $650. So we decided to start looking at renting houses. I found a little spot in Marathon on the water, and since we've never dove Marathon before, we figured why not.
Hey you guys, it's Christine and I'm down here in Marathon. We rented this pretty nice house on the water for about 2 weeks and we got the boat here too, which is great.
The plan was to experience every area in Florida, and Marathon is known for its world-class fishing.
I can't believe you let us sleep in.
I can't believe you rolled on the other side and went,
It's
and went back to
freaking,
bed.
we had the alarm set for 5 o'clock in the morning, and Christine just swipes it off.
That's because you wouldn't get your lazy ass up and turn it off.
Do you see what they posted yesterday? Abigail and her husband, they got fish on the board. We should be like in the zone right now. Yeah.
It's okay, we have the whole year ahead of us.
You know what? This is going to be like the hare and the tortoise. You know, we get a little bit of a slow start. We're going to come through in the end. All right. Well, cameras are all ready. We just need to load up the boat, get the gear ready, and let's go. What time is it? 9:30. Day one of the Florida Spearfishing Tournament. I got a good feeling about this.
Christine and I headed out for a day of diving and put our first fish on the board. A yellowjack, which just so happened to be Christine's first yellowjack ever.
First yellowjack, baby!
I then dove down and landed an amberjack myself, and we had our first couples double.
Couples double, man! You know what the difference in a yellowjack and an amberjack is? One's yeller.
We wasted no time in jumping back in, and Christine lands her second fish of the day, a nice amberjack as well.
Jesus, you skewered him. Christine got her first amberjack and yellowjack ever by spear. Hold him up above your head. Like all the way up. Oh. I was joking, but go.
After a fun day of exploring new waters, we headed back in to measure our fish for the game. We took some pictures and videos of our entries and called it a day.
Order number 1695 with an amberjack. Christine Vartiainen is my witness. Kimber Clark. 29 inches. Those are the best eating kind right there.
Yours is smaller than mine.
Whoa, Kimber, whoa. Wait, you just wiped that fish across Kimber's ass.
Oh,
Kimber, whoa.
Kimber should get out of the way.
Christine is an identical twin, and her sister's name is Victoria. When I first met them years ago, I started calling them the Fisher twins, because it's a lot easier to say, spell, and remember than Vartiainen. Two Finnish girls, just as passionate about fishing as I am, and we've become family over the years. Victoria also joined the game, And I consider us a team, although there is a strong unspoken competition between the two of them.
Victoria, can you hold me?
She's not letting you clean your fish first?
No, because everything's about Christine.
You wouldn't be winning, I'd be winning.
Okay,
Hey.
don't get cocky because it's about to change real quick.
Whatever.
I feel like with this fish, it's like hard when you get to the middle.
Maybe you just don't know how to play it.
Christine's like attacking me. She's like,
Here we go again, ladies. Always
Your
bickering.
hands smell like fish.
so are yours.
My cobia was bigger. Just saying.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
Are you sure about that? 'Cause
Yeah,
that
this
was so
cobia
big.
is tiny compared to my cobia.
I kind of knew that by having them compete against each other that they would be a lot more inclined to go diving whenever I wanted. Not that I ever had a problem with getting them out there on the water in the first place. Lauren Sarasua and Nicole Burko were also on our team. Not that there were any official teams per se, but these girls are my first picks to dive with. You typically need 3 people on a dive trip at the minimum. 2 people in the water and 1 driving the boat, making sure no other boats run you over. The second person diving with you in the water may be the one to save your life if anything goes wrong and you black out from lack of oxygen. So these girls were ultimately the individuals I would entrust my life with. Victoria is out on someone else's boat and she shoots her first ever permit while the guys are scuba diving.
There's like way too many sharks. They keep like coming at me. There's like 10 of them.
This little girl all by herself, chumming up the water with the bull sharks under her, and she shoots and lands a permit. Only problem was, Victoria didn't have her measuring tape that day, and without a specific measuring tape, you can't submit your fish. Oh well, she thought, I'll get another permit in the year. We then moved down an island or two to Big Pine Key. One unique thing about Big Pine is there are key deer that come right up to you because they are protected here. They literally have no fear of humans.
Timber note. Captain's log, March 6th, 7:25 a.m. Started looking at Instagram, saw a couple people catching Wahoo. Today's the day. The next 3 days after today are gonna be totally rough.
So tired.
Shame you don't have those fish to submit. You would be the top dog female.
Oh, you would have been the top dog. Well, I guess we'll just have Victoria win.
Well, we'll just have to see who wants to win more.
We are about to head on out to do a little bit of spearfishing.
We're gonna be targeting some sheephead and some mangrove snapper.
We want to try to get number 1.
I would be probably number 1 if I was measuring all my fish, but I didn't have a measuring tape.
That's not true because I shot more fish than you.
Yeah,
Top dog
so-
shoots more fish.
That's gonna change real quick because I got the spots.
Me and Judah got the spots, so.
You don't got any spots.
Yeah, we do.
You get your spots from me.
No.
My boat was having issues one day and we got an invite from a couple of locals.
We're out here in the middle of the Atlantic. The water's all murky. It's not looking good. Well, it's a good thing we got the jump on everybody because we have the whole place to ourselves.
I let the girls get into the water first and Christine shoots a nice kingfish. Victoria puts a second shot in the fish to help her secure it. Victoria then dives down and shoots an amberjack herself. I dive down and put a shot on an AP.
7 AP.
A piece of skin got stuck in the flopper, preventing it from opening properly, and the fish got away. Damn. Christine dives down and lines up on an AP. She fires, but unfortunately the gun jams, preventing the line from coming out of the reel. A shark goes after the fish, and it takes off towards the bottom and pulling the gun and Christine down with it. She starts to panic, making a split-second decision that could mean the difference between life and death. She lets go of the gun, making her way to the surface as quickly as she can. In those situations, the ascent can feel like an eternity.
Tuna! I lost your gun. I shot an AP.
You alright? You alright? What's wrong? Feel scared? It's just a gun, man. It's no big deal.
It was my favorite gun.
What happened?
I don't know, I shot it and I kept trying to loosen it and it kept dragging me under. And then like all this water got in my mask and I couldn't even see.
Well, you did good. You did good. At least you're alive.
It was not a good day for me so far. I was the only one without a fish and I lost my favorite gun. But at least Christine didn't get hurt or even worse, drown. So I had a lot to be thankful for.
Like I had no idea where I was. I was like, oh my god, when am I gonna get to the surface? And I started having like bad contractions.
I was the only one without a fish that day. But that's alright. You win some days and you lose some.
So we're doing this Florida spearfishing competition, and anyone in Florida has a year to shoot all the fish they can shoot.
Ooh.
39 and a half.
No, it's 40.
40? Okay. 39 inches.
That's just 1 inch shy of a 40-inch amberjack your sister shot there.
I just took the lead with the kingfish, and I just took the lead with the amberjack.
So, as far as points go, Christine is still in the lead.
Oh, because she has other fish.
And it's a shame you didn't have your measuring tape yesterday, or else you would have taken the lead. The next day I get my boat fixed, and with only a few hours of daylight left, we decide to go out once again, and with a vengeance. Here we go. This is something big. This is something nice, down to 45 feet. Go ahead and get in. Get ready to shoot, babe. Victoria is at the helm for Christine and myself.
Oh, here's some more right now at 45 to 60.
We're drifting along and chumming the water when a couple of APs came in. I dove down and put a nice shot on a fish and had my AP for the game on the line. As I'm bringing my fish to the surface, I see another one tagging along with it.
Hey, there's another one down there.
I yelled at Christine to drop down and shoot the other one. She dives down and places a nice shot in the fish, and we had our second double on the line.
Yeah, man. Woo! Pull it in. We got 2 APs on.
2 nice APs in the boat, and the day was a great success.
Awesome, babe.
This was Christine's first AP, so it's once again a great milestone for her, and I was proud to be a part of it.
Double, double, baby. Woo! I shot mine first, and she went down and got hers. Woo!
Both lost our APs yesterday. We came back and got them today.
Redemption time, baby. Boom!
I got a call from Murray Marine. The new motor I had ordered had arrived and was ready to install. Beautiful, because the next couple of days were going to be really windy. Just coming off Monday. Just powered this Triton 225 2008 since day one, like a champ. It's kind of a sad day and it's kind of a joyous day. Sad day because that last Verado 250, she served me well. I'm gonna miss her. I bought a new motor in Key West because I planned on spending a great deal of time down here. I couldn't have any downtime and I had planned on running the boat hard this year. I trailered the boat down to Murray Marine, and while I was getting a new motor installed, I met a guy named Dylan. I was one of the guys working on the install. He just so happened to be into spearfishing as well, and we hit it off. But we'll talk more about him later. The next day the boat is done and I'm stoked to get my new motor broken in. She's so sexy and my confidence level in the boat just shot through the roof.
Woo! Wait! Got my new motor.
It was like I had a brand new boat. All my boat problems were now gone. I couldn't wait to put her to work.
Yeah, all our boat problems have pretty much went away. That's it. Our motor problems should be over. See my new motor? All our problems gone away.
Okay, so that's another thing we'll address a little later on.
50 miles an hour, yeah!
In the meantime, my brand new engine was ready to go, and we already had a few nice fish in the bag. I feel like we were definitely hitting our stride.
I'm in the lead! Woo!
You're in the lead.
First place, baby.
First place? Let me see. Ooh, look at that. 106.
Number 1.
Nice. Day in and day out, we were going hard, racking up those points. For Christine, it was really a trial by fire initiation period. But she's a tough little girl. Florida Spearfishing Tournament. Let's mark this down in history. As 325, I was 7th place. So we can document when I hit first place.
One day you'll get on my level, buddy. I'm just kidding.
But one thing was certain. She wanted it as badly as I did. Even if sometimes she needed a little persuasion.
Christine, spearfishing is not just, a physical thing, it's a mental thing too. You gotta work towards it. Don't you want to win?
Yeah.
Well, get up! You too, Kimber! Come on! Let's go! We're gonna kill this! Come on, you can do it. Pull it back. Pull it all the way back. Come on, pull. Yeah! Another point on the board. Woo! Florida spearfishing competition. 2 more points, baby. Woo!
Summer is fast approaching, and now things were definitely heating up. Getting hot, man. Getting real hot. Future's bright, though. Little update on the competition. I'm like in 6th place right now. I want to win. Now I was rolling out with my new motor, and I was really stoked. She was purring like a kitten and putting all of our past boat problems to rest. We had a lot of hunting to do to stay on top of the competition, so I vowed to take real good care of her. Captain's log, heading down to our new spot, Key West. Key West, the southernmost city in the continental U.S., known for its colorful art scene and free-spirited residents. This is one Florida town that definitely has a personality of its own. I've been wanting to move to Key West for years, especially after landing my first Wahoo there and seeing the crystal clear blue water that you could see the bottom at hundreds of feet deep. This was a great opportunity to spend some time down there and see what life would be like, and if we would like to end up there one day. Here's the lazy Saturday afternoons with Don Julio and jets. We got a little house in the water that had a pool, and it was nice, but it was right next to the airport. Man, was it loud. That's our entertainment. This is front row seats to Key West International Airport. That's what we gotta live with. 9 to 5. 8 to 5. 87. 77, really. Every day. Noisy jets aside, we were pretty amped to get back in the action. It was our first day out and Victoria was able to join us. Our eyes were on the prize that day. It was the very end of Wahoo season and we still needed one for the tournament.
Let's roll.
The conditions were looking good for a sunset mission. I decided we didn't have a lot of time. We'd hit the Atlantic side, and we'd hit it hard and hit it fast. So I decided to take a shortcut, an area called Lake's Passage. If you aren't paying attention, you can get yourself and your boat into a lot of trouble. I've said it before, I'm not trying to come off to be any kind of expert. I'm no fishing guide, I'm not a pro, I'm just a regular guy that just moved down here from Georgia a couple years ago, and I'm just trying to enjoy the ocean. I'm just trying to learn as much as I can about fishing and diving, trying to feed my family off of the ocean, and today just so happens to be one of those most embarrassing failures that's happened to me in a long time. It was a day just like any other day, gearing up with the girls, and we started making our way. Now I was gonna go through this area that's super, super shallow for miles and miles and miles, and I have never been through this area before, and my touch screen stopped working. I was zooming out to look at something, went to zoom back in, and I had all this dried salt from the day before on the screen. So I took my shirt and I'm trying to dry off the screen. I'm flying down this open channel, and I know that I'm coming up to an area that's starting to get shallow, but I think I have time. Just when I finally got the screen back, it showed me an area that I was definitely not supposed to be in. It was too late. I was approaching this green area, which is basically just sand. I ran my boat aground. That's right. Like straight up, complete stop, ran it aground. And I'm talking about with my new motor too, like woo, 50 miles an hour.
First time I ever ran aground.
Complete stop.
You weren't looking at your map?
The map wasn't responding because there's salt all over it. Shit, we were doing so well.
We're in here really good.
Sandbar party, anyone?
That poor motor.
Poor motor, brand spanking new motor.
And the one thing that I feared the most, which is running aground, happened.
We're like way deep into the ground.
The wind's gonna fight us hard, like when we're trying to push out of here.
We really just wanted to come to the sandbar and get tan and work out. That was the plan. Yeah.
Yeah, the girls were having a good time with it. They happened to spot what looks like a police boat approaching.
Oh, what is that? That looks like a SWC or pop boat.
Maybe they over up like a rope and pull us out.
They're not gonna come over here.
They're gonna know that the tide's coming up and that we'll get out of here sooner or later.
Not like we had an emergency and the tide was coming up, so I was just gonna wait.
He's gonna help us out.
I don't think he's gonna help us. He's just gonna be like, you all right? No.
Maybe he'll pull us out.
This is embarrassing. I didn't want to be a part of this.
Me too.
That was until Monroe County Sheriff pulled up.
How you doing?
Monroe's finest.
Hey, you think you could try and pull us out a little bit? Do you have a rope? Yeah, I got a rope.
Yeah? Walk it out.
So I grabbed my anchor rope, super long rope, and we tied it up to his boat and hooked it up to the cleat.
Well, guys, we have run agrounds. But you know, everybody at least once in their life has run agrounds. You can't say that you haven't, because I know you all have.
Ladies,
We're going.
go ahead and tie it up. Good?
Yeah.
Get out of the boat. We gotta push. There you go. Push. Woo!
I feel like you don't even need to push. Yeah, he's got it.
And wouldn't you know, he pulled us right out.
We made it.
Really nice guy.
You're the man, brother.
Really glad that he came across us.
Oh, thank you so very much.
And
know, help us out.
Monroe County Sheriff. Woo!
Thanks to our new friend, we made a clean escape with only minor damage. Mainly to my ego. Alright, enough funny business.
We need to get out there and shoot some Wahoo.
Game face back on. So we're back en route, shooting out, and my phone rings. It's Formula Freediving, my local go-to spot for spearfishing and freediving gear.
Andrew!
It's my buddy Andrew up in Marathon Key. I was not expecting a call from him for any reason that I knew of.
What's up, buddy?
Andrew was on the other end, asking me if I was missing something.
What do you mean?
Missing a spear gun?
Oh yeah, bro, you found my gun? No, bro, I knew someone was gonna find that shit. Woo! Are you kidding me?
My gun that Christine had lost just days prior to an AP had been found. A local fishing charter had picked it up about 5 miles from the spot where we had lost it.
Tarpon fishing in the 7 Mile Bridge. Christine was down like 50, 60 feet. She shot an AP. The gun got jammed in the tip. She had to let it go.
Oh my god, that's crazy.
Yeah, we should try and meet up at your shop too and do the exchange. That'd be cool.
Alright, well, I'm gonna send you a number.
Yeah, do that. I appreciate the call, buddy.
You got it, man.
Okay, thanks. All right, bye. Holy shit, man. That's freaking awesome.
Alright, let's go.
Let's go.
We don't have that much time.
Onward and upwards. We finally make it to our spot.
Ooh, marking bait. Tons of bait. Get suited up. Girls basically only get one shot. Okay, this is gonna be a shorter drift, so I'm just gonna put you right in the money.
I let the girls get in first, emphasizing that we needed to be fast and focused since we were rapidly losing daylight.
Well, they're in the zone.
After they complete a couple of drifts, it was now my turn to get in. I jump in with my spare gun since my favorite gun was lost. But not for long. There is good reason why we choose to hunt at sunset. Fish are most active at dawn and dusk, but active fish also call in a bigger problem. They're active predators. Sharks. As usual, they were competing for our dinner. The open ocean was teeming with bull sharks that evening. Sharks are generally curious nuisances that you have to keep your eye on while you hunt for your fish. But at their worst, they're dangerous opportunists, especially when you're holding a bloody free meal. If they don't take a chunk of your arm, they can pull the fish down that's attached to your gun, dragging you down with it. I spot a kingfish and put a shot in, narrowly escaping the aggression of another curious bull shark. I have Victoria keeping an eye on the shark activity below us. Diving with a buddy is especially crucial at this time of day.
Well, no Wahoo, but got a king.
Alright, you guys, we got a kingfish, no Wahoo, but we got dinner.
Although we didn't get the fish we were after, I'd say we had a productive short day.
Start heading back, suited up. It's probably gonna be a wet ride.
The ride home was wet, cold, and long, but we were happy to make it home with my boat still intact. It wasn't until we hit civilization again that I saw a tagged message sent to me through Instagram.
So we're on our way yellowtailing, catching yellowtails, and saw something floating in the water. Went and picked it up, and lo and behold, hey Tuna, I got your spear gun, homie.
My long-lost gun was found by a guy named Andrew, a captain, big dog sport fishing charters out of Marathon. Time to get my baby back. The next day we make it up to Formula Freediving to make the exchange. It also gave us an opportunity to get some fine tune-ups to our existing gear.
Oh man, hey, appreciate you.
Andrew, nice to meet you guys.
Oh, it's so awesome, man. Well, man, I appreciate you bringing it back to us, man. That was amazing to even have somebody have found that.
Yeah, I just saw a
Big
stick
bridge.
sticking up out of the water and I drove past it. I finally turned around after like a couple hundred yards and went back and I saw your line sticking down.
So she shot an AP down about 50 feet, and I saw in the video the swivel caught up into the string.
So it turned out that the gun malfunction that jammed the line was of no fault of Christine's. She definitely made a wise split-second decision to let go of the gun when she did. You know, these Italian guns are super powerful, super accurate, but they're also just a little bit high maintenance.
Yeah, kind of.
Things can happen if you don't have it just right.
I was like kicking, trying to
Started
bring it
toning
up, and
down.
then I just kept going further down underwater, and I'm like, oh great, I'm gonna either lose Judah's favorite gun or I'm gonna die.
No gun's worth a life.
It was a good learning experience and an eye-opener for sure.
Yeah, and you got your gun back.
Yeah.
So.
Meeting a cool local captain was another bonus as well. Check out his charter, Big Dog Sport Fishing, if you're ever in Marathon Key. It's a few days later, and this time we decide to hit the Gulf side. We decide to go out to the towers. I needed a third diver, so we called our friend Nicole Burko, who has a flexible schedule like ours because she's an artist. There are around 14 towers, old Air Force relay towers out in the Gulf. Sometimes they hold fish, and sometimes they don't. It's a crapshoot and a long drive for a gamble, some of them being around 100 miles from Key West. Farther than this boat has ever gone before. I ordered a 100-gallon fuel bladder for long trips like this, but it hadn't yet arrived, so we needed to keep an eye on our gas consumption. I was at least confident that my powerful new motor would see us through without any issues. So we're basically gonna keep it at a low RPM to conserve fuel, kind of gauge how far we get. We don't want to cut it too close. So hopefully we get out there and have a couple hours to dive and do our thing and then get back and still have some fuel in the tank.
I dig it.
All right, ladies, let's roll. Having never gone out to the towers, we didn't know what to expect. Hey, damn Wild Wild West over here. There you go. The fuel just read 50 gallons, so we're like 50%. Cutting it close also because we were going with the waves coming this way. We're gonna be going against the waves, but hopefully if they calm down a little bit, you know, we'll be all right, we'll be all right. I wasn't convinced that the fuel gauge was reading correctly. Anyway, we needed to focus on the task at hand. We'd deal with all of that later. Okay, let's dive. That afternoon, the tower was swarming with bait fish, so I had a feeling that we were getting lucky. All three of us start swimming around the towers, and Christine dives down and a cobia swims up. At first she doesn't see it, but then turns around and heads straight towards it and fires, placing a nice shot in the fish. The fish heads straight for the tower, and we take turns pulling on it, keeping it out of the beams, which would surely end in disaster. Nicole helps her retrieve her fish, and they head to the boat. Yeah!
Oh my gosh, that was a workout.
Meanwhile, I see another cobia coming in and out of the area, and I make repeated dives trying to get in position to take a shot. I finally decided just to not worry about that cobia and swim up current and take deep dives into the towers, not knowing what to expect. I dived down, and the deeper I got, the more murky the water was. The water seemed to be getting progressively cloudier from the first time we got in not long ago, I thought to myself. And all of a sudden, that cobia started swimming right up within range. I fired a shot right behind the gills, and it took off into the depths, into the murk, and I could see the sharks getting excited. I concentrated all my efforts on getting the fish to the surface and also towards the boat. Luckily, Christine had just finished with her fish and was there when I needed her to assist me. I secured my fish, and we both had a nice cobia for the tournament. Another couple's double. Christine and I both got a cobia for the competition. Woo-hoo-hoo! Guess who shot the bigger one? Christine. It's Nicole's turn.
Pressure's on.
Nicole shoots a nice amberjack and a few mangrove as well.
It's sharky. I don't think we're wanted here anymore.
We then concentrate our efforts on some massive mangrove snappers that were hanging around the towers. Fish were really spooky, so I would dive down a column on the blind side of the fish, up until the moment I felt I was close enough for a shot. Then I would pop up over the beam and pow, blast the biggest one I could see.
That's one for the competition right there. I think it's my biggest mangrove ever.
I would immediately have to grab the fish and secure it from the aggressive Goliath groupers and big bull sharks circling the towers, trying to stalk my every kill. I should have better communicated this to Christine. Not realizing she needed to be so careful, she shot another mangrove. As she was coming up from the dive with the fish at the end of her shooting line, a big bull shark rushed in from her blind side and grabbed her fish, ultimately ripping the gun right out of her hands.
Judah! My gun is gone. A shark took it. He yanked it out of my hands.
What happened, babe?
I was bringing the fish up in my hand, and then a shark just came out of nowhere and just grabbed it from me, and then I tried to grab the gun, and then it was already way down there.
Hopefully it cuts the line, and then we find the gun floating.
The gun was gone, never to be seen again, and a learning lesson for us all.
Well, on that note, I think we should probably wrap it up soon. Well, pretty amazing day.
Even though I just lost 2 guns.
You know why other girls aren't losing guns? Because they ain't shooting fish.
After a very productive short day, having spent so many hours getting out there, it was now time to start making our way back. And the seas were picking up.
Now let me go ahead and start navigating so we most efficiently get back, because, ooh, it's even saying less gas now. I don't know. Hopefully we get back.
And this being our first real long-range mission, having only a 108-gallon tank and the fuel gauge not working properly, I didn't want to take any unnecessary chances.
37 miles to get back to the inlet. 40 miles to home. That's a long way.
Although I did feel quite confident in my brand new motor. We were definitely not going to break down, that I did know. Something I was not too sure about all that long ago. We were making our way back and everything was going well.
What the hell?
Until it wasn't.
Sounds weird.
The motor started making a weird sound. It was at least still working, but wouldn't go over 2,000 RPMs without choking out and ultimately shutting off.
Come on! We got 25 miles to get home, man. We still don't even have signal.
Maybe I had some bad gas. Maybe I hadn't ran the tank that low before and whatever was on the bottom was clogging up my new fuel filter. Never had this problem before.
This boat, man.
We're still many miles from civilization, and now my biggest concern is, are we even gonna get home tonight? The ordeal is forcing us to drive at a snail's pace. I can also see on the radar that a lightning storm is brewing, looking to hit us dead on if we don't make it back in time. We're all tired, just want to go home.
So weird how you turn it off for a minute and then it works fine for a couple of miles.
I had been bragging for weeks about my flawless new motor and how all of my past boat problems were now put to rest. And now this. We pushed through. As we kept getting closer to Key West, the motor kept getting slower and slower.
18 miles from home, now 5:37. We're supposed to be arriving at about 4, and it's now 6:30 arrival time. Fuel gauges not reading anything. Junk.
This made the ride anxiety-provoking, not knowing if we'd make it back without having the radio in a tow. I decided to try and see if I could get anyone on the radio just in case.
U.S. towboat, do you copy? U.S. towboat, do you copy? Sea tow, do you copy? Sea tow or U.S. towboat, do you copy? Do you copy? Do you copy?
Radio silence.
Not sure if we're gonna get back. I think we're running out of gas.
My fuel gauge wasn't working properly, and so I did consider that it could be a matter of low fuel, which was what I was worried about when we left for the towers.
Tina's trying to call and find anywhere we can maybe get gas.
They won't even answer the phone. I guess that means
It probably means they're close. Will you work okay at 2,000 RPM? I'll take 7 miles an hour. I'll take 7.
It's hours later when we finally petered back into the inlet.
Well, we could swim back now. It's always an adventure. Always an adventure. And we get to see a beautiful sunset. Oh, that's a big one.
We decided to take a few pics with our fish with a beautiful sunset as a backdrop.
Awesome! Congrats, guys.
I was really pissed there for a minute though. Still am pissed. We should have been back like 2 hours ago. We're rolling at 7 miles an hour. Oh no.
That sunset quickly developed into a crazy electrical storm.
We get stormed on, man. Come on, Mercury, get us home. Oh
It
man.
was frustrating with the speed we were forced to be at.
We got lightning cracking all around us right now. Whoa. I can't believe we got home.
Luckily, we made it back without a drop of rain or getting hit by lightning.
Only 13 and a half hours later. Frickin' boat, man. Not happy with it.
We were understandably exhausted, so we waited for the following day to measure and clean our fish.
you guys look how big these mangroves are.
But all in all, we came back with a ton of fish. Nobody got hurt. Good times.
Was the drama worth all this boatload of meat? I hope so. We'd soon find out how serious the issue with the motor was. But for the moment, I just wanted to enjoy our success on the water. I was nervous to bring my boat back in. We were about to go on tour with this new motor, and I couldn't afford any issues that could leave us dead in the water. I get to Murray Marine, and it turns out the problem was merely a clogged fuel filter. They were able to fix it within 5 minutes, so I bought 3 in case this ever happens again.
Well, apparently I got some bad fuel somehow, somewhere. Said it was all slimy. You don't even know what kind of fuel you're getting. But I have fuel filters now. But if it happens again, I've got the parts to fix it.
In the future, I'll be able to change the fuel filter out on the water and get right back into the action. Always a lesson learned, every single day. Take 2. A couple of days have passed and 3 of us are back in action once again. We shouldn't have any motor drama this time around. The morning sky, however, was looking a little hostile for another long-range trip.
Well, we just need to go that way. Not that way. Right? Right?
Yeah, it's not looking good. We're gonna get rained on.
I was dead set on moving up for the tournament, so a few nasty little showers weren't going to stop me.
Yeah, I'm sitting in like 8th place with the 2 fish we got the other day. Today, if we go out and get a hogfish and a sheep's head, that'll bump me up a couple more points. Wow, it's so calm out here. I think we could go all the way to the Gulf.
And then, the motor just shuts right off.
What the hell?
Really, Duda?
Critical over temp.
You gotta be kidding me.
Engine is overheating.
This time, the engine would overheat and then just shut off completely.
Just let it cool down for a minute.
You know, at this point I just had to laugh. I'm laughing on the inside. Well, so much for going out today. After the engine cools, we make a 180 and head straight back home.
Why would the boat be overheating?
I needed to give this some thought.
There was a lot of grass out there. Maybe the grass was getting caught up in the intake. I mean, the main reason the motor overheats is something clogs up the water intake and doesn't allow enough water to get through to cool the engine down. I got 99 problems and a boat is one.
Once again, back to our buddies at Murray Marine.
Man, I am so sick of having boat problems. So sick.
Taking the boat to Murray Marine once again. Figure out what's going on. They're probably like, what the hell? But I got no other choice. We're about to leave Key West the next day or two. So this is going to be my last opportunity to try and get this boat fixed. This time I was right about the cause of the problem. Boat is fixed again. Once again, Murray Marine helps me out at last minute. Can't thank these guys enough. The weeds apparently got in there and overheated the motor, and overheating the motor made the impeller melt and wasn't quite doing its job properly. The ground wire was fried. Can you see that? He said a lot of guys have been having problems with grass in their motor. It was a different kind. It wasn't sargassum. It was like this little stringy stuff, and it was all over the place. Apparently, 10 guys were having problems. He said they were trying to run over the flats in shallow water, and then they were sucking up grass and overheating, but they couldn't stop because they would have ran aground, and so everybody was having problems. So they changed the impeller, ran a new thick wire. This wire ain't cheap, and set me straight, which is nice because actually we are taking off. We're going to Marco Island tomorrow. A bunch of towers out there that we're going to try to hit, so we definitely need to make sure the boat is running without issues. Bye-bye, Key West. She's been good to us. It's kind of a good decision to leave when we did because the weather started to turn sour. A hurricane was brewing down in the Gulf. Hopefully it wouldn't make it over to us in Marco Island. That would suck. We then make our way over to Marco Island. Christine suggested it since we'd never been there before.
What is up, you guys? We're in Marco Island and we're about to head offshore about 50 miles. We got a long ride. We're gonna do some spearfishing and hit some towers.
So we dipped out of Key West. There's a hurricane coming. It's yet to be seen whether or not we made a good choice getting out of Key West or coming to Marco Island, because I hear people are like nervous about it hitting here. But it'll be interesting to see if we made a good move or we made a terrible move. Hurricane hits this area, this boat, whether it's in the water or on a trailer, is gonna get probably ruined. We are here. There's a couple of towers out here. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's why we came to Marco Island, is because there's a couple of towers that we hit down in Key West, but there was 3 or 4 other towers up north that we couldn't really reach with this boat's range from Key West, but in here in Marco Island we can hit. So Marco Island is strategically located for us to hit these 4 towers. Let's go kill some fish.
Well, it's gonna be a fun ride.
I see it! I see the tower! 61 miles. We just went 61 miles to get out of here. Woo. We pull up to one of the towers and there's a boat tied up to it. You guys planning on being here a while?
Yeah, there ain't much here. There's no fish.
Really?
Yeah, we were here yesterday. There was a lot. There was African pompano, yellowjack, everything.
We talked to the guys who were spearfishing on scuba, and they let us know there really wasn't anything there. But about 10 miles in a different direction, there was a lot of life on a wreck they were just at.
You want the numbers?
Yeah! Hell yeah! They said they were about to leave and we could have the tower to ourselves, but they recommended going over to that wreck. I'm ready. They gave us some numbers, and I decided to take a chance on the information they gave me. Although I was skeptical because not everyone is so sharing with information.
Alright, well, good luck.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. But the few that are a godsend. I mean, most people are friendly like that, and I share information too. I would have done the same thing. Some people are dicks, real secretive. We'll go check it out. Since we're already out here, why not? We head over to the numbers he threw at me, and we started looking around. We pulled out a rod with a bucktail jig and casted it out and let it sink. First, I put that thing down once. Immediately, I had a nice fish on. Must be a good spot, whatever it is. What is it? Whatever it was putting up a good fight. And when we finally got it to the boat, it was a beautiful African pompano.
An AP!
This is definitely a good spot.
Alright, I'm ready to get in the water.
That was cool. First AP in the boat.
After bringing the fish into the boat, I decided to double back around and drop anchor right on top of where I hooked the AP. We were at least 60 miles from home, but still the water was less than 100 feet deep because we're in the Gulf of Mexico.
That's the farthest I've ever gone in this boat.
If we were in the Atlantic this far out, we'd be in 2,000 foot of water.
And so now the fuel gauge is reading 54 gallons. So we don't even have gas to go back to that tower. We need to dive here and then head straight back. All right, let's go kill some fish.
As soon as we get into the water, Christine shoots another AP and brings it to the boat like a pro. We now had our daily limit on APs, and although they weren't fish we could enter into the tournament, we were happy to have them since they are one of our favorite fish to eat.
Yeah, too bad I already had an AP in the boat and I could have shot that other one.
I know.
I like this wreck, huh?
I see a big school of amberjacks and I throw my throw flasher and let it sink to the bottom to distract them from the tip of my spear gun that was about to be pointed right at their brain. I dive down and pick out the biggest fish and I fire. Unfortunately, I didn't get the stone shot I was looking for, and this fish put up one heck of a fight.
Remember when I told you not to shoot an amberjack unless you had a great shot? This is what it's like when you don't have a great shot.
I finally managed to get a hold of this fish and look over my shoulder and see a huge tiger shark lurking in the distance.
Babe, tiger shark.
I called Christine for backup and started swimming toward the shark to get a better look, but it took off. I guess it just wasn't that hungry today.
Yeah, that's the biggest amberjack I've ever seen. Here we go.
This is definitely going to be one for the competition. I get back into the water and this time I land a really nice mutton snapper. This being the cherry on top for a very successful day on a wreck we didn't even know existed this morning.
Nice Gulf mutton. That was 86 feet.
We thought about heading back over to the tower, but we had run out of time and fuel, and we had plenty of fish in the boat.
Well, we got 2 APs, one on rod and reel, massive amberjack, and a beautiful mutton that we're probably gonna have for dinner tonight. Not bad.
We had a long ride ahead of us, and I wanted to get back before dark because we had a lot of fish to clean.
I'm getting some points. That amberjack probably gonna give me an extra 20, 30 points. And big plus is no boat problems.
What do you say? Was it a good day? Let's measure these suckers up for the tournament. 61.2. Beast. Witness Christine Vartianen. Got an amberjack upgrade coming in at 50 1/4. Today was a good day. We had a very short window of opportunity to dive as a hurricane came barreling up the coast and gave us a good scare.
So we're in Marco Island. Hurricane just passes us. Rain pouring down for 2 days. And then today it stops. And we're like, oh, okay, nice. We're gonna have a nice little ride up to St. Augustine. Basically, we followed the storm up here to St. Augustine.
It was now the height of summer, and next on our agenda, hunting the red snapper. This trip was exciting for us not only because we expected to gain tournament points, but because we planned on breaking a few world records out in the Atlantic, where we suspected that the fish would be massive. I also had a big crazy Italian family reunion coming up in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, a long-standing tradition that I couldn't miss out on.
Yay, the family reunion!
And the 3-day red snapper season just so happened to be right before the event. So with the timing right, I planned on flexing my culinary skills for my family with a chest freezer full of fresh caught fish. Feeding a house full of hungry Italians was going to be a mission, so we needed to bring our A game out to St. Augustine. Now, American red snapper on the east coast of Florida has a 3-day recreational season. Christine and I both have never even seen a red snapper out on the water, let alone swim up to one and shoot it, so we had some work to do figuring this one out. But since we were on a roll with planning and executing of hunting other big fish for the tournament, we were pretty confident that we could figure it out. Red snapper just so happens to be one of the 17 fish in the Florida spearfishing tournament as well, so we were killing 2 birds with 1 stone.
My biggest concern is the chest freezer stops getting power because I have a lot of fish that is frozen that I'm trying to get up to the family reunion next week. I'm going to try and go get some dry ice, keep that puppy cold.
Apparently red snapper are more prevalent above Cape Canaveral, and all of my fishing experience has been below that area. I started studying the charts, and one thing that came to mind, I wanted clear water. And in my experience, the further you are from an inlet, the clearer the water's going to be. And that's why I chose St. Augustine, which has an inlet nearly in the middle of Cape Canaveral and the port of Jacksonville. 2 massive ports that would surely murk up the water pretty bad. With only a 3-day season to hunt for such a sought-after fish in Florida, and with the weather being so perfect that weekend, there were going to be lots of boats out on the water, so we needed to be strategic. So we packed it up and hit the road.
So I just filled up the boat and the truck. Right now I'm going to try and find Winn-Dixie and get some dry ice. Keep my fish cold.
Everything was underway. We were en route to St. Augustine. But there was only one problem. I was coming down with something.
So we're in St. Augustine, and I'm a little sick right now. I'm pretty sick.
Maybe it was the dry ice gases I accidentally breathed in that day, which took my breath away.
Because I was like digging in the chest freezer, and I had like a couple of big chunks that just evaporated, so all that carbon dioxide was in there, all that cool air, and I inhaled it.
Maybe it was COVID.
I feel a little warm.
Snapper season only being 3 days out of the year. There's no time to be getting sick. I'm diving regardless. But the other day I was diving, a couple of dives I came up from, and I was seeing stars. It was just like...
I needed a pick-me-up, and there it was, a sign from God. The fountain of youth.
All of our answers.
If anything was going to make me feel better for this adventure, it was going to be the fountain of youth. We were going to stop and give it a shot.
How does it taste?
It tastes like tap water.
What? I'll be the judge of this.
It's coming out of a damn plastic PVC pipe.
Crusty plastic pipe or not, I was not going to miss an opportunity to snag a bottle for the road.
Kenny, how much is it?
It is $8.99.
Dang it, that's a deal.
It's a deal.
Hey, for everlasting life. Can't go wrong, right?
Drank from the fountain of youth. I'm feeling better already, actually.
I am, are you?
Hey, whatever works. I needed all my strength for the next 3 days, and I was willing to try anything.
Yes, yes. Tomorrow we conquer the red snapper.
Day 1 of red snapper season had finally arrived, and our friends Nicole Burko and Joe Carter came up for the day to join us on our adventure. On the way out, we started looking at charts, and specifically Seymour maps, which had some pretty spectacular structure we had planned to hunt.
Now the problem is, which spot do we go to? Now we have too many spots.
It was a long ride out to where we wanted to fish, around 40 miles from shore.
Ooh, it's fishy. Real fishy. We're going directly over it right now. Okay, let's try and tie it off here and see where we end up. Look at this. Look at this. Oh man. And we're right in front of the wreck. Like really perfect.
We didn't know what to expect, how difficult it was going to be for us to find our fish.
I mean, really, if I just get one decent red snapper of a day, I'll be happy. I'm just gonna breathe up, really take my time, go as deep as I can possibly go. Then I'm gonna start looking for where's the biggest fish.
I'm just gonna shoot the first snapper that I see.
Christine said, I'm going to shoot the first red snapper I see.
No, you should maybe wait, you know.
Little did we know it was going to be the trip of a lifetime. And pretty immediately, Joe jumps in, shoots a fish, and it was a nice one at that. The biggest red snapper I'd ever seen, and that was a good sign.
Hey, FYI, big bull sharks. There's some big bull sharks here.
I get into the water and loaded my gun, and then I see two really beautiful fish that were about the right size for what I had in mind. Without haste, I dove down and lined up on one of the fish and fired. It was on. I had a red snapper on the line, but the fight wasn't over yet. Goliath grouper had plans for that fish as well, but I managed to secure my fish away from that beast. I had my first red snapper, and once I pulled it to the surface and into my hands, I was surprised at how big it was. A lot bigger than I thought it was going to be when I lined up for the shot. It was a joyous moment. I started swimming back towards the boat with my prize fish and look over and see Christine making a dive. She fires and secures a fish. Just as impressive as mine.
Nice fish, guys.
Once again, we had a couple's double on, and a nice fish for the Florida spearfishing tournament.
Good job, man. Well, I guess we picked a good spot.
First dive for you, right?
Yeah, first dive.
Second dive.
Everything else on the trip would be icing on the cake.
Oh, man. Hey, secret spot. Secret Seymour spot. Woo. Good job, babe. Woo, nice. Nicole's got a fish. What'd you get, Marco?
Got a good one, buddy.
Nice. Day one red snapper season. Yeah, I think we done good. I think we succeeded.
We wrapped up the day early because everyone had a red snapper and you're only allowed one fish per day. We couldn't have asked for a better outcome for our first red snapper adventure ever. We were talking back at the house. These fish were so big that if we just held out for one a little bit bigger, we could probably break a couple of world records. Day 2.
It's a beautiful morning. We got Tom Stowe with us. Joe was complaining about pulling the anchor, so we switched him out for Tom.
You remember Tom. He works for our company Presto Restoration. This was going to be his day, and I was proud to be the one to put him on his first red snapper ever.
Well, day 2 of red snapper season, and I'm feeling a lot better than I did yesterday, thanks to the Fountain of Youth. Done me good. Did pretty well yesterday, so well. I'm going to be a little bit more selective today. Yeah, we're about to roll out.
We set out on day 2, confident from the success we had the day before. I decided I was going to use a pole spear today since it was so easy to shoot the fish by spear gun yesterday. Christine shoots another really nice fish and spines it, crippling its ability to get away. She brings the fish to the boat, but there was only one problem. Her spear didn't go all the way through the fish.
It was like I stoned him. He didn't move after I shot him.
Nice. Oh, it's a big one.
As she was lifting the fish into the boat, the fish came off her shaft and almost got away.
Grab it.
It was almost lost, but she grabbed it in the water. Luckily, she had spined the fish, so it didn't have any fight left in him. That was a close call. It was my turn to get a fish, and I didn't know what to expect, never having shot such a big fish by pole spear, but everything went just as planned. I dove down and sized up all the fish, picking out the biggest one, and I fired. Another really nice red snapper, just as big as the one the day before. This was apparently going to be a lot easier than I thought.
Yeah.
We once again moved to a new spot. This new area was very promising, with very large fish swimming around the sonar. Those big fish turned out to be big bull sharks. But the presence of sharks means the presence of our target species. Nicole decided to use her pole spear for the day as well. She dives down, trying to find the biggest fish of the bunch. She picks out her fish, lines up, and fires. It's on. Only one problem. A shark had plans for that fish as well, and it came in hot. The shark grabbed her fish and took off to the bottom, and her worst nightmare became a reality. She was tangled up in the float line, and the shark was dragging her down to the depths, and ultimately, her death. She went for her knife and was just about to try to cut through the line, when luckily the shark ripped the fish off, allowing her to make her way to the surface. At the same time, Tom was on his way down to save her. They both made their way to the surface unharmed.
You alright?
That was a close call, and one that could have ended very badly.
Okay, thank you.
You alright?
I think it was a little scary, I'm not gonna lie. Did you guys know I almost died today and I got some really good footage of it?
A seasoned Spira, Nicole wasn't fazed. After gaining her composure, dove down once again to get her redemption. Another nice fish came in and she fired, securing her fish. If at first you don't succeed, try again. Blessing in disguise, with her second fish, she had set a new world record.
Did you just break the world's record pole spear?
I think I might have.
You witnessed it here first. 26.20.
Pulled up my certified scale, and while it wasn't as accurate on a rocking boat, it was clear. She had the new female world record for red snapper. Tom dives down and places a shot on a nice fish as well, and finally had his red snapper secured. It was a good time.
Woo!
Once again, each of us had our red snapper for the day, and so we called it quits.
Red snapper season, limited out by noon.
We took a bunch of pictures, proud of our catches, to show the world. Day 2 of red snapper season, and we once again made out like bandits. We had 1 day left of the season and 1 day left to snag another world record. This time we swapped out Tom for my girl Kimber Blackfin Clark.
Gonna come out with us today, Kimber? So today, we've got a lot of bait, we've got a short day, we're gonna chum heavy and try and bring in a monster.
The night before, we had looked up the current woman's world record for red snapper harvested by spear gun. And based on the successful 2 days we had, we were pretty confident that Christine could break that world record. We found our spot and wasted no time getting down to business. As soon as Christine gets into the water, she gets into her zone. She relaxes herself, takes a deep breath, and dives down. Passing up on a few smaller fish that she could have shot, she waits for the biggest one to appear, just like we discussed the night before. She picks out her fish and lines up, taking her time to aim precisely in the kill zone, and fires. Bull sharks weren't hungry that day. Probably from all the fish they've stolen from all the anglers the past 2 days, and she pulls her fish to the surface. It was huge.
Nice. Good fish.
We were impressed with her fish, but at this point we weren't terribly convinced that she had broken a previous world record of 23.1 pounds. If she did break the record, it was going to be close. Either way, it was a beast of a fish, and we were all proud of her, especially me. It was Nicole and my turn to take a shot on a fish. The red snapper started becoming more skittish. I wonder why with the last 2 days. Shot a couple of nice mutton, but kept a close eye on the action happening all around us. The bulls were coming in hot, but they were no match for our grunts, and they didn't get any free meals from us today. Nicole has her own intimidation tactics. Needless to say, she was still on edge from the day before.
Sharky down there, huh?
Yeah. What were you screaming?
Tuna! When you yell, I feel like it scares the shark.
Grunting works better though.
We didn't have much time left, and the red snapper were nowhere to be found, unlike the past 2 days. It wasn't looking good for me on the final day of red snapper season, but you know what? I wasn't upset. I had my fish for the tournament, and a nice one at that. And we had enough fish for the family reunion coming up in a few days. But I kept trying. This was literally my last dive of the day. I told Christine 15 more minutes and we'll go. And there it was, a massive red snapper that came out of nowhere. I placed a crippling shot on yet another really nice red snapper in the final hour.
I got one!
Woo, that's a big one.
Yeah!
It's fat.
Yes.
All right, now we can go home.
Gotta get out of here, got a family event to go to.
We hurried up cleaning the boat and getting back to the house so that we could weigh in our fish and see if Christine broke that world record. We didn't know what to expect from Christine's fish. It was going to be close if she was going to beat the world record of 23.1 pounds.
And what is your fish, girl? 24.9.
From originally saying that she was going to shoot the first fish she sees regardless of the size to breaking a woman's world record on spear gun, I can say I was pretty damn proud of her.
Christine's red snapper for today coming in at 24.9 pounds. I think that's a new women's spear gun record. Nicole Burko just broke the pole spear world record yesterday too on my boat. Bam!
Despite feeling ill, I pushed through the adventure and it was a success. Great weather, calm seas, 2 world records, and a wonderful time with great friends. You couldn't ask for a better first red snapper season. We cleaned all the fish and vacuum sealed it and loaded it into our mobile chest freezer for transport. We had been traveling around with a chest freezer full of fish, and it was challenging to say the least. The next step, getting these puppies to Myrtle Beach for our family reunion. Now, hunting fish while holding your breath in shark-infested water can be considered a stressful task, but even more stressful is introducing your girlfriend to all 40 of your closest family members. The pressure was on. Ah, the memories. Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I've been coming here since I was a child. I was really hoping that this would be a perfect place to relax and unwind after all the action we saw in the past week. I always look forward to fishing from the beach like when I was a kid, even to this day. It wasn't exactly Florida water conditions out there, but it was a nice change of pace. And as it turned out, Christine fit right in with my family and we all had a great time. The big night had finally arrived. It was time to make our fresh fish tacos for dinner.
Hope these avocados are on sale. That's the most avocados I think I've ever purchased in my life.
Our red snapper, along with some other choice catches, were going to be the stars of the show tonight. With the help of our fresh fish, my lovely assistants, and our 10,000 avocados, we were golden for our dinner duty. Will you just look at that feast?
did a fine job. Everybody was digging right in.
Yeah, we killed it. Literally. The week flew by, and before you knew it, it was time to move on to our next adventure.
Bye, kids. Bye.
After the success of St. Augustine, Christine and I made our way back down to Miami and celebrated our 1-year anniversary together. I can't imagine how I'd even be able to live this non-stop spearfishing adventure without Christine. I'd get a little lonely traveling around with just Kimber and I, and you can't dive alone.
Where are we going?
That's also why I waited so long in life to settle down with someone, knowing that your time together will be so distracting to everything else in life. It's nice to have finally found someone to share this adventure with and be experiencing what I dreamed about for so many years. The real game and fun is Christine and I getting to know each other more and more each day.
Salute, babe. Here's the 1-year anniversary.
Dropping the boat off at the outboard shop. Get her all nice, tip-top shape for Pensacola.
You ready to go?
I got word that our new Alamani spear guns were made and ready to ship.
All right, we're on the road.
It was time to make our way to Pensacola to hunt for the yellowfin tuna.
We'll see. I want to jinx it. Actually, I don't really believe in that whole jinxing it thing. I more believe to speak it into existence. We're going there for yellowfin tuna.
The time had finally come to hunt for the one species of fish that would give me an edge over my competition. The Florida spearfishing tournament is quite similar to the game of chess. It takes methodical thinking. It takes experience and skillful planning. It takes patience and calmness under pressure. Every move you make brings you either one step further or one step closer to victory. You must study your opponent, know their strengths and weaknesses so that you can anticipate their every move. And you must remain several steps ahead of them, because your competition is seeking the perfect opportunity to take you out. You must think like the predator, but also like the prey. Even small errors early on can determine whether the game is ultimately won or lost. The time had finally come to hunt for the elusive yellowfin tuna. I set our coordinates to the Fads deep offshore into the Gulf of Mexico, further than where most would venture to go. This move would place us at a strategic advantage over our competition. My fuel bladder had arrived, so we now had the ability to travel twice as far out. More than 100 miles in both directions. There was only one woman now that had the power to stop me dead in my tracks. Mother Nature.
So we got 2 hurricanes coming right for us.
The night before we were about to head to Pensacola, we find out there are another 2 hurricanes coming our way.
And that's where we're going.
Great. What is this, hurricane season? And as a matter of fact, it was.
2 hurricanes rolling straight for us in Pensacola.
The thought hadn't even crossed my mind. I guess because it didn't matter anyway.
We're gonna have to go out in the storm to get our fish.
Wouldn't that suck if we get set up there and then all of a sudden it just hits and destroys the whole place? And the boat.
It wouldn't have changed my mind, but definitely something to keep in mind for next year, if there even was a next year.
Kimber, what do you think? We continue on?
I agree.
Good girl.
About to get on the road again.
Ba 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 ba. Well, I just can't wait to get on the road again. Hopefully we'll have a couple of windows of opportunities to shoot out there and try and get a yellowfin. The weather's not looking good.
Yeah, I'll admit it. This was a little bit crazy. Taking my small boat 200 miles out into the middle of the Gulf of Mexico, jumping in the water and diving down as deep as I possibly can to shoot a yellowfin tuna while Christine is driving the boat. People have died doing far less, and there are great white sharks out there that can get up to 5,000 pounds, and you would never see them coming. But this wasn't our first rodeo. Taking calculated risks, it's how you win the game.
It's the only way I'm going to win the competition.
And finally, we made it.
Babe, there are people catching yellowfin tuna and big bull mahi around those fats right now. We need to walk away from this trip with 2 yellowfin tuna. Playing chess, not checkers. Don't get excited. Guns coming. We're in position.
Where's this guy?
I don't know. Throw some cheese on this cracker.
We rented a little house that wasn't far from the marina where we were keeping the boat.
It looks a little rough.
The marina was surprisingly empty. The dockmaster told us they were almost finished with repairs from a hurricane that came through a year prior. We should be good since lightning rarely strikes in the same place twice. A hurricane can hit any part of Florida, and it has in the past. No place is really safe from one of nature's most powerful and destructive forces.
Well, the boat's all situated at the marina. I've got bait, I've got fuel, guns are on the way. This feels like real time right here. Riding out 65 to 80 miles. It's gonna be an adventure for sure. I know that much.
Our weather window had arrived, and it was time to start finishing up the final preparations for our voyage.
Probably needs 100 extra gallons.
I filled up the fuel bladder and loaded the boat down with ice and bait, getting ready for the following morning. We headed out real early, and the weather couldn't have been any nicer. This was going to be a piece of cake.
You ready to go? Ready to catch a yellowfin tuna?
Whew. All right, we got a long ride, 80 miles. I couldn't contain myself how excited I was on the long ride out there, not knowing what to expect. The ride was about 3 hours long. But luckily for us, we had some company along the way.
That was so cool.
So let's see how far we are from home right now. We're only 87 miles. 87 miles from home. This is the farthest I've ever gone. Yeah.
We were now deep in the middle of nowhere. Not an ideal situation if anything were to actually happen to us or the boat. There's no cell service that far out, and we might not even be able to reach anyone on the radio in this vast open ocean. And if we did, it's a slim chance they would want to go so far out of the way to tow us back in. Not to mention what would happen if a storm developed while we were waiting for help. As a last resort, we'd have to call in the Coast Guard, and they'd have to fly in a helicopter to rescue us. We were putting a lot of faith in hunting these floating structures, bobbing around in the abyss.
How many pads are there?
8.
Wow, look at that detail. Look at that drop off right there. Man, this place is fishy.
But luckily for us, the water was like glass, so I cast out a line to preview what we were sitting on.
Yeah, this water looks pretty clear.
Oh, might be a mahi.
Oh, it was a mahi.
Oh my god. What the hell?
All right, well, at least we know there is life around these parts.
Look at these bite marks though. What do you think that is? It might be a shark. Oh look at all the mahi. Oh, there's a nice one.
Damn.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm sitting up.
Oh, look at them all.
Damn, there's a lot.
Well, you want to dive this?
Let's get this party started.
These mahi are the way you want them to be. It's going to be a piece of cake.
find a school of mahi, and Christine and I start shooting what turned out to be the best mahi experience of our lives.
Nice mahi, babe.
Both of us shot a few nice mahi for the game, and once the biggest ones were harvested for the tournament, I got back in and picked up my rod and got to work slinging them in the boat.
Mahi madness!
We lost track of time, and before you know it, it was time to head back in if we were going to make it back before nightfall.
Just limited out on mahi for the day with my girl. Good job, babe. Now we have some work to do.
We ended up limiting out on mahi. That's 20 total mahi, and that meant we had dinner for the next few weeks while we hunt for the yellowfin tuna, which wasn't gonna come easy. My new guns finally arrived. Ever since I got into spearfishing, I've heard about this brand of guns. They are known for being the best and most expensive guns out there. It's every bit of quality craftsmanship I've heard these guns to be, and I was mesmerized and in love.
Oh man.
The Alemanni Velo 135 is an absolute cannon of a spear gun.
That's a shaft.
That's nice. Can I touch it?
The thickness of that shaft. Feel that shaft.
Jeez, why is it so heavy?
With a 10mm shaft, a gun unlike any other I've seen before. I also got a 90cm gun as well in case we came across some nice mahi, which based on our previous trip, I was pretty confident we would.
Look at that little reel.
I know, I was about to say, it's so tiny.
This thing is a beast. Pick this up.
It's a heavy gun. These bands are so tight, so tight, so tight.
That is a mighty fine looking gun.
Unfortunately, that was the calm before the storm, and the winds picked up, preventing us from making it back out there for the next couple of days. We had taken that weather window for granted, thinking it would be like that for at least a few days in a row. Rookie mistake. This was summertime in the Gulf, hurricane season, and things change quickly. We were chomping at the bit to get back out there, especially now that I had my new guns. We finally have our wish, and the winds calmed down enough for us to get back out there. Unfortunately, not as calm as the first day, but calm enough for us to go out. It would take us 2.5 to 3 hours to make it to where we wanted to fish, with an equally long ride back that only leaves us a couple of hours of daylight to hunt. And if the winds and waves are too rough, we could be driving all day and have no time to hunt. Not to mention being beat to hell on a small boat in big waves for 8 to 10 hours in a row. Despite the risks, I had studied every angle and was confident in executing my next move.
And start our first drift.
We spent the better part of a day drifting over areas I was hoping to find fish. The storm started developing off into the distance and was moving in.
All the way out in the Gulf, in this little storm, you gotta just find us, huh?
Storms out here in the Gulf of Mexico can come out of nowhere and go from flat, calm seas to hanging on for dear life, so we kept an eye on it.
Love you.
At this point in time, Christine was the captain, and I was the only one on the water, waiting for something to happen. It's kind of an eerie feeling being out there 80 miles from shore, 2,000 foot, and being the only one on the water with no one watching your back.
They're here, babe. Big one.
All of a sudden, after days of drifting around looking for tuna, I see what look like faint little yellow triangles that are the telltale signs of a yellowfin tuna. And before my eyes, an entire school appeared. I started to take aim, but it seemed like every inch I made towards them was 2 inches they moved away. I was now looking at my adversary dead in the face. As soon as I pulled back, they started coming in closer, but not close enough for a shot. Until they shifted once again and came in to where I could take a shot. It wasn't a close shot, but it was all I had.
Check.
I couldn't lose now. I lined up with my new gun, and I fired.
Checkmate.
I finally came face to face with the yellowfin tuna.
He swam right up to me.
Oh, wow.
It was a long shot, but my shaft landed on the fish, and the shaft quivered as it stopped dead in its tracks, but unfortunately didn't stick.
I took a little bit of a long shot, but I thought it might be good with this gun. I thought for sure I had him.
That was it. I had my shot, and I messed it up. There was my dream for the tournament, everything I had worked for, gone in a flash, and I was heartbroken. But you know what? It could have been worse. I could have gone through all this trouble and never even seen a yellowfin. Not only did I see one, but I saw a lot of them, and I shot and hit one too. Judging by the length of my shaft compared to the fish, it was a big one too, around 200 pounds. That's big enough that it could have assured me winning the tournament.
But that's what we're looking for. It's a good sign.
As we made our way back, I felt like I couldn't be completely disappointed in the dead. Now I had something to look forward to for the rest of the trip. It was time to head back home and get back before dark. I was also pretty sure the school of tuna would be spooked after having shot and hit one of them. We headed back at full speed and made it back just in the nick of time.
I think we're in the right place.
What a day. What a day.
Timer says we've been on the water for 12 hours and 18 minutes. Damn. Hell, it seemed like I dove for like an hour or two. 191 miles we went today. And no fish.
The next day I wanted to go back bad.
So this website shows me the wind speeds for different days. Today, right now, would be the only day we can go. It's tomorrow the 26th, 27th, 28th, 29th. Big storm coming in, hurricane. 30th, 31st, 1st. We leave on the 3rd.
I wanted to finish what I had started and land that yellowfin tuna. And even though we were tired, we set out once again. But the seas weren't as calm as they were the day before. There were scattered thunderstorms littered all over the nav screen. Halfway through, I see a storm that starts to develop right in our path. There was no way around it, especially if we wanted to have any decent amount of time diving around the fats. We had no choice but to go straight through it, full speed ahead. Drive straight into a dark wall of a storm in the middle of the Gulf in a 23-foot boat 50 miles out from shore. The storm started getting worse. It started out as a yellow blob on the screen and then quickly turned into red, and then a color I've rarely seen before. Purple. And purple is not good. The worst of the worst. We finally made it out of the area and soaking wet. The storm that had just passed started developing even worse and shifted directions, heading straight for us once again. We were now running from the storm, as it seemed to be following us. We spent the rest of the day trying to find fish in calm waters that I could dive. But the seas were rough, and I didn't have a good feeling about me being in the water, leaving Christine alone to drive the boat by herself. It would be very easy for her to lose sight of me, and I could get lost at sea in such rough conditions. We finally made it to an area where I could dive for about an hour, but it just didn't seem right, and truthfully, I was tired. I decided to call it off, and we headed back towards home, having drove around for hours for nothing. Christine offered to drive, and I laid down in the beanbag and fortunately passed out. I slept for hours as she took us home. Thinking about that yellowfin tuna that got away. That's how I feel about it too, Kimber. That's how I feel about it too. Unfortunately, the winds pick back up as the hurricane hits the coast of New Orleans, not far from us.
Damn, this wind has just moved right in on us.
We weren't able to get back out there in the amount of time that we rented our place. We had been there for a month, and we could count the amount of times we got to get out there on the palm of our hands.
It's saying seas 16 to 25 foot in north swell. We're right here. This is today. It's tomorrow. The following day. The day after that. And the day we're checking out seems to start to look good.
We might have to extend our stay. You down for that?
Yeah.
We gotta get a yellowfin too. If it's the last thing I do.
We kept an eye on the weather and saw another opening coming up in the next week, so I decided to extend our stay in Pensacola. But this time we rented a place downtown in the historic part of the city. Victoria became available to join us as well, so we flew her out. And we now had 3 people on the boat, the ideal number so no one would have to dive alone, with 2 people in the water watching each other.
Nice little spot for the week while we hunt yellowfin tuna. And if you didn't know, Christine plays the piano.
Of course, I was still obsessing over my new spear gun, excited to get to know her.
No recoil. Piece of cake. When you ask anyone about spearfishing that knows about guns, this is the best gun there is.
The truth is, she was now an extension of me, for better or for worse. I knew that I was prepared with my Alamani by my side. She is as sophisticated as she is deadly.
Let's go, Blaze. It's 4 a.m. Victoria. Time to go shoot some fish.
We head out once again, myself and the Fisher twins, again with scattered thunderstorms, but hopefully we would have better luck this time. I was very excited to put my new gun to work once again.
This is my rifle. There are many like it, but this one is mine. My rifle is my best friend. It is my life. I must master it the way I must master my life. Without me, my rifle is useless. Without my rifle, I am useless. I must fire my rifle true.
I was ready for battle.
We've been driving for 3 hours. Storm's just developing all right around us. Just like last time. The water was like.
Jumped around from fad to fad looking for the spot with the most promising conditions. It can really be a tough call since you have no idea what you're going to see till you get out there. and the fads are several miles apart and a good drive away from each other.
I'm telling you, between 5 and 6, there was birds and there was a lot of weeds. I don't know if we should shoot all the way out to 8.
Strategizing to find the best fad can eat up a lot of time that could instead be designated for diving.
Nobody said it was gonna be easy. Hey, there's actually some bait here. All the way down to 150. Oh, there might be tuna here.
Oh, look at all that.
That's a big mark right there. That's probably a wahoo or a tuna. I like this a lot better. Yeah, let's get suited up and do a dive here, I think.
Victoria got to shoot a really nice mahi with my new smaller 90 centimeter alimony. And Christine shot a few as well. They were really nice fish for the game, and that was great for them. But we didn't see any signs of yellowfin tuna, and I was disappointed to say the least. In the next 2 days, our efforts were fruitless on the tuna front, and I was starting to get discouraged. We were down to the final hour.
We're here, ladies. The last fad, which is the last fad we dove ish. So we have like 26 minutes left to dive before we have to start heading home. But babe, I'm basically going to be breathing up this whole entire time for one dive underneath that buoy.
I got into my zone. I gave it my all on those final dives and still came up empty-handed. Our time had run out and it was time for us to head back in. Damn. It started to seem like a pipe dream if I would even come close to seeing a tuna on these trips. And having to travel 200 miles in a day with a small chance of seeing one just didn't seem worth it. But I still wanted my tuna. Unfortunately, our time in the northern Gulf was coming to an end. We could only try so long and we had to get back to South Florida. This wasn't an area I wanted to be at for long. And it didn't look like I was going to get that yellowfin tuna after all.
Well, ladies, we tried. We tried and almost succeeded. I don't think I had an equipment malfunction. I think I hit the thing in the spine and it popped back out because the tip of that spear was dented. Like if you hit a fish right in the spine, like bam.
Well, if you hit the spine, why wasn't he paralyzed?
I mean, he went down. I didn't see what happened to him. Anyway, cool thing is we got close. You know, could have been worse. We could have not have seen any. Well, the time has come to an end.
No yellowfin tuna this trip. Now that I know some people here, they were saying that in the fall and the winter time, the winds are worse, but there's more tuna. So we're gonna come back. We got it all dialed in, but it was a trying trip. We traveled 1,000 miles by water. From here all the way to Chicago would be 1,000 miles. That's the most I've ever traveled in such a short period of time. I knew that we'd be back later in the year, and next time, out of hurricane season, we'd have a very different experience. I could feel it in my bones. But for our next adventure, we were going back to our old stomping grounds to rack up more points for the tournament.
It's gonna be fun packing up our stuff here, huh?
It's gonna be fun for you driving the boat.
Oh man, I didn't even think of that. Man, this is gonna suck. Holy shit! Oh my god. Babe! It's like Pensacola's giving us a warm farewell. Now we have to carry all this stuff.
There's that old cliche, life happens when you're busy making other plans. Some of the best adventures occur between the goals that you set. What would be the fun without a few challenges along the way?
Okay, honey bunny, we're out of here.
I was looking forward to making it back to familiar territory.
Woo! Back down to Key West. Once again. Once again. Beautiful Keys. Love the Keys, man. Love it.
I guess I just can't stay away from this place.
Keys problems. Am I good?
Now, we've done our fair share of hunting out here, and we definitely have our spots. But the waters surrounding the Keys are dynamic and cover a lot of territory, so it can still be hit or miss out there on the water.
It's kind of intimidating when you get down to Key West and there's so much area. Like, where's the fish? You can't see the fish. You know, you have to go find the fish or find clues.
Remember that guy Dylan I met at Murray Marine when I got my new motor? Well, I invited him to come out with us one day because we needed a third person on the boat, and I thought we'd give him a shot.
Just the same way you go riding around looking for birds and you see a bird over a spot. It's the same way as driving out and seeing 3 or 4 boats over in that area going, what are all they doing over there?
Anyway, Dylan was born and raised in Key West and has been freedive spearfishing his entire life. He was a solid guy and a good ally to bring along with us as a third diver for the day. Plus, since he wasn't in the Florida spearfishing tournament, I figured I wouldn't have any issues in terms of competition. Or so I thought. We took off deep into the Gulf of Mexico. We were nearly 100 miles from where we set out of Key West that morning, and it took us nearly 3 hours to get there. Dylan was the first one to enter the water since I was dealing with my boat. I'm in the water next to the boat loading my gun when I hear Christine yell to me something about a big cobia.
Judah, there's big cobia. What? Big cobia.
So I ducked my head under and started swimming in the direction of Dylan, which was a good distance away. It's a big one, he says. I need a second shot. Damn. I swam as fast as I could over to him and was now out of breath. Adrenaline and heart rate were pumping. I immediately put my head down into the water, stopped moving every muscle on my body, closed my eyes and took a deep breath, telling myself to slow everything down, which was not an easy thing to do. I took my third deep breath, pulled the snorkel out of my mouth, pinched my nose to equalize my ears, and made my dive down. At the surface, the water was blue and somewhat clear, but as I descended down for the first time in the area, I quickly became surrounded by green, silty, poor visibility. I was basically diving into the darkness and guiding myself down by the line that was attached to the fish. The fish started pumping down deeper, and I hung on to the line so the fish was pulling me down into the depths. Finally, the fish appears out of the darkness. Using hand over hand grabbing the line, I pulled myself closer to the fish so that I could stop kicking and conserve energy. I was at the end of my limits of my breath hold. I lined up and fired, hitting the fish right behind the gills. I started to get a little dizzy on the way back up. I was definitely at the end of my limits in terms of my breath hold. The shot was good, and it was all I could do down there to help, or chance losing my life.
I hit him.
We quickly got the fish to the surface, and the size was absolutely amazing. The biggest cobia I'd ever seen. I knew the shot was good behind the gills, but what I didn't realize until we got to the surface was that I hit it right between the eyes.
Yeah! Woo, it's a big boy!
It will be one of the most memorable fishing experiences we've had on my boat, but there's only one problem.
Woo, he's huge.
It wasn't a fish I could claim for the tournament. We spent all that time, energy, and money traveling out to the farthest point we could reach within our means. And the only fish of the day was harvested by a guy that wasn't even in the tournament.
Damn!
He's almost as big as you.
That's the biggest cobia I've ever seen. Damn, that would have been a great one for the tournament.
So, I made him drive the whole way back. I was definitely stoked for Dylan landing that beast of a cobia. However, with the tournament as my main priority, I was a little disappointed that I wasn't the first one in the water that morning. I'm not gonna lie about that. Dylan was down 30 feet when that cobia swam up to him and he was able to put a shot into it. It was very much still alive and thrashing as it bolted down to 80 feet, where I placed a critical second shot on it to secure it from ripping off. It was not just tough, but downright dangerous for me to swim down that deep with nothing but adrenaline and a lousy breath hold. If it was the other way around and I had put in the first shot, I could have claimed it for the tournament, and I would have racked up a fair amount of extra points that were desperately needed. With that plus the yellowfin tuna, I would have definitely been riding in first place. You see, this is how small errors can add up down the line and then ultimately determine whether the game is won or lost.
The cobia today, 67.2. Woo!
And now that the year was progressing, every move I made became even more critical. This was a good lesson in strategy for us moving forward. Next time I'll be the first one in the water. Sorry, Dylan. Moving on. One of the fish Christine needed to harvest was a hogfish, and Dylan said he knew a spot where there was a bunch of them, and he would take us on his boat. I invited Victoria to join us that day, and Dylan, who I think was still feeling a little bad about his cobia, offered to drive the boat for us.
Fisher twins reunited. Got Dylan on the boat. To go out and shoot a hogfish.
And a mutton.
And a permit. And I need a cabera.
I need a cabero too.
Got a long list, Dylan.
We left at sunrise, and it was a beautiful morning. It was also nice not having to deal with driving my boat for once.
So we get suited up?
Yeah.
Let's go.
I decided to drift a little bit away from the girls so I didn't scare any fish. Current was ripping. I was swimming with the current and felt like I was flying. And there it was, a massive mutton snapper. The biggest mutton I've seen in a long time, and it was only in 10 foot of water. Instinctively I fired and I hit the fish, but a little higher than I wanted to. I had to make sure not to put too much pressure on the fish. If I did put too much pressure, the line would tear off and the fish would get away. I brought the fish to me, and it was the most beautiful mutton snapper I'd ever seen.
Yeah! Woo! What a beautiful mutton!
Dylan drove up with the boat and I handed the fish off. Victory was mine, and a fine fish for the tournament.
Woo! Look at that! Man, I can't believe that. It was like right underneath me. One Christine needs right there.
Yeah.
I drove up to the girls and picked them up to try a different spot. I dropped down on a nice piece of structure and a grouper pops out and staring dead at me. I lined up and fired, and the fish went straight into the structure.
Shot of black in the structure.
But now we had to dive over and over again, trying to get it out.
Get down there if you can. In the middle of the structure, you can see them. It's a little murky, but he went in. So we're probably gonna have to like free him up.
Dylan is helping me with the fish and keeping the sharks away as I attempt to free the fish from the structure.
Big bull circling it.
Meanwhile, a big bull shark is stalking us, trying to rip the bloody fish from our hands as soon as we get a hold of it. That was a bitch of a retrieval, to say the least. Christine and Victoria are a couple 100 yards away from us and for some reason got separated from each other. Victoria drops down and two cobias swim up and she fires. The fish takes off into the structure and gets stuck. She makes her way back to the surface, and there is no one to be found.
Hey! Judah! Judah!
She's calling my name, but we were still battling a bull shark over that black grouper and didn't hear her.
Judah! Hey! Hello! Come here!
She finally catches the attention of Christine.
I have the cobia, but it's stuck down there. My shaft is stuck. Can you get my shaft? I'm like out of breath because I've been screaming for 5 minutes.
Christine dives down and pulls the fish out of the wreck and swims towards the surface. Just as Victoria's pulling the fish up, 6 Goliath grouper are coming in hot, wanting to steal the fish from her and take it towards the bottom. Victoria dives down and tries to poke off one of the Goliaths with her spear. The Goliath bit off more than it could chew and heads down to the bottom.
The Goliath has it in its mouth. Pretty sure the Goliath just ate my fish.
There's literally like 6 or 7 of them down there.
Come on, keep going. Come on. Keep going. I gotta catch my breath.
After a long tug of war, Christine finally manages to pull up the cobia from the Goliath's mouth and towards the surface.
That was a mission.
The Goliath had enough, and the girls secured their fish. Victoria now had her cobia for the game, and she wouldn't have landed it without the help of Christine.
Woo! Victoria got her first cobia. Another fish for the tournament. He got stuck in the wreck and kept pulling and pulling and pulling. Like 3 Goliaths came up trying to put him in his mouth, and then you started stabbing him with your spear gun. Look at that. Judah! Woo!
What's that? Cobia?
Yeah!
Woo! We've had a hell of a time with this damn grouper.
We had a hell of a time with this cobia.
What a bitch that was. Woo! This thing gave me a hell of a time. I regret shooting it. Well, we're gonna go to the next spot. What? Going to the next spot. Going to the next spot!
We decided to move to a different spot, and before you know it, there wasn't much time left in the day for Christine to get her hogfish. We went to some shallower spots known for holding fish that would be easy for the girls to dive down and hang out. This way they'd be able to wait for the right fish to swim along.
Oh, I can see the bottom now.
There you go. That's clear water.
I decided I was done diving for the day, and I would remain on the boat and give Dylan some company, and give the girls a little space so they could secure their hogfish. Victoria already had a hogfish for the game, so I figured she would help Christine find one, especially after Christine just helped her with her cobia.
I think Christine might have a hog.
With less than 30 minutes in the day, they shoot a hogfish and could finally wrap up the day with success.
You get it? It looks like it. Let's go over there and see. You got a hog?
We pulled up and I was excited to see Christine holding a hogfish, but it was Victoria.
Wait, you're the wrong twin.
That caught me off guard. I really wanted to encourage Christine now since we were losing daylight fast.
There's more hogs here. There's definitely another one.
They were taking turns diving, and on one of Victoria's dives, a beautiful hogfish swims up and she decided to take the shot, preventing any chances of her sister getting that hogfish. Not only on the last moment of the day, but on the last day of hogfish season.
It's the final hour. Victoria just got a hogfish. She already had a hogfish for the tournament, so Christine was a little jealous, I think.
Christine was visibly upset, as I knew she would be once I found out it was Victoria who shot the fish. Oh shit. But Christine was still in the lead over Victoria by around 4 fish, and this would be one less point she had to worry about. This made Christine really mad, especially after she helped her sister land that cobia just hours before. We did a couple more drifts hoping for a chance to land her one last hogfish before the sun went down. But luck was not on her side, and it was time for us to head in. There was tension on the boat the rest of the evening. This is one downfall of the game. It does create tension among friends that would otherwise not be there. Despite everything, the 4 of us did pretty well for the day, so I was happy about what we had accomplished.
Woo. Not bad, not bad.
And Christine was still sitting in first place. so she was able to take the loss without holding a grudge for too long towards her sister. The weather was now changing. We were approaching Florida's cooler months, where the winds and waves can often lead to less favorable diving conditions. The final days of the tournament were closing in. Cooler waters paved the way for another new challenge at hand. It's now the start of Wahoo season in Florida, and we still needed one for the tournament. It's an important species that when caught would give us a major edge over our competition. Now you may recall my trials years back when I first learned to hunt these fish, but the girls and I have come a long way since then. Wahoo are only second to yellowfin tuna in terms of difficulty to acquire. They are seasonal migrators, finicky with weather and constantly on the move. Very hard to pin down, but they're one of the most prized fish to hunt in Florida waters. I made my decision to stay down in the Keys to stake out a secret area that we had luck in the past. It had been a while since we had gone after Wahoo, but Christine and I were definitely ready. Even though a few Wahoo can be found here year-long, the big schools of this migratory fish make their way down to Florida waters in the cooler months. They are one of the fastest fish in the ocean and can travel over 1,000 miles in pursuit of their food, preferring temperatures between 72 and 80 degrees. But even so, their erratic migration patterns mystify the fishing community. Local wisdom and personal trials have been my greatest teachers with this fish so far. On any given spot, they can seem like they're everywhere one day, and then completely disappear within a moment's notice. So now, with 2 months left in the Florida spearfishing tournament, it was time to hunt for the second hardest fish in the game. We booked a place in the Keys near Isla Mirada. First day we got out super early. Our friends Lauren and Jose came down to dive with us.
Well, this is about the earliest I've ever gotten out for a dive. Talk about first light.
And it'll pay well. Wahoos, the earlier the better.
Here we go.
It was a beautiful morning. I was driving the boat and Christine, Lauren, and Jose were the first ones to dive.
Pretty good spot to drop. I'm gonna mark it.
Being the captain, I like to let everyone else get into the water first so I can see the direction of the drift and ensure we are perfectly in line with where I'm marking fish on the sonar.
Okay, y'all ready?
Yeah.
Well, this is basically a spot I've seen many who, so let's get in. What a beautiful morning. It's the kind of morning you're just thankful about everything, that you're able to just be out here, one with nature, to wait and see if they see anything.
They look down and there are Wahoo everywhere, which is a rare sight to see, and one that is sure to get the heart racing and the blood pumping with adrenaline. 3 people dive down to shoot a Wahoo. Lauren shoots the first fish and has it on the line as it takes off out of sight.
Shot one?
Yeah. Lauren just got a hoo.
She's swimming after the fish with her shooting line in hand.
Is it big?
Taking off my reel.
Jose dives down on another fish, shoots and misses the Wahoo.
I missed one.
Ah!
Like a ballerina, Christine quietly dives down, getting into position to place a shot on the Wahoo, and fires.
Yeah, Christine got one. You got one, babe?
The fish takes off with her float, and she is in pursuit.
What do you got there? What do you got? What do you got? Christine got one and Lauren's got one.
Now both Lauren and Christine have a who on the line, or so it appeared.
Got 2 who's on. One was missed. Exciting shit going on.
Lauren's Wahoo eventually and unfortunately rips off.
I guess it ripped out or a shark got it.
And just as fast as the chaos started, it stopped.
Good job, babe. Beautiful fish. Woo, look at that. Look at that beauty.
Woo. Bull sharks started coming up. I was like, oh.
Come on, get in, get your line in.
With all of the hype, we started drifting away from the other 2 divers, and I needed to get back to them fast.
Congratulations!
Woohoo! This is my first Florida Wahoo.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
Dude, I don't know how I missed it. You see how I missed it?
No, I didn't.
No?
I saw you going down though.
They came in, they were all big.
It was Christine's day to shine, and she had her Wahoo for the tournament.
Yeah, nice one, Christine.
Just in the moment when I was gonna shoot it, we did like this.
How many did you see?
Like 6, 7.
The day was still young, and we were hopeful that we'd come across more whoos before the afternoon hit.
I want 6 whoos in the boat today, people. You ready? Let's go.
We dove a few more hours, and at one point Jose and I come across another Wahoo. We both dive down, and Jose, being closer to the fish, shoots and misses. Jose was just having one of those days.
One last trip.
I can't believe we could have gotten 3 in like the first 15 minutes.
That's how it goes down.
We dove all day without seeing another Wahoo, and that's one of the reasons why Wahoo are the second hardest fish in the tournament and in general. But I was proud of my girl for landing the only fish of the day, and at least we were eating good tonight. We cleaned the Wahoo and made dinner with Christine's fresh catch.
Some nice looking meat.
The next day we invited Tom and Molly Stowe to join us, but they couldn't come down till the afternoon. So the 4 of us rolled out for another morning session, hoping to get lucky once again. At one point, with Lauren and Jose in the water, we come across a very unique situation. Another boat drives up and drops anchor right on top of us.
Yeah, it's like 50 feet.
They're gonna scare all the fish.
Have you ever seen something like that?
Literally, our boats are almost touching.
I thought it was rather rude and inconsiderate. You don't want to be that guy. Lauren and Jose swim up and can clearly see that they had wrapped their anchor line around ours.
What the hell?
Incredible. The line is tangled.
I know.
What the happened? I don't understand. So you park, and then they just parked in your side?
They anchored up over there.
Yeah.
And so I went over here and anchored up.
Yeah.
Then they pulled up anchor, came up right next to us and dropped right on top of us.
Why?
And then wrapped around us.
But why?
Go ahead and pull it up and I'm gonna cut the anchor line.
You're gonna cut it?
Yeah.
Then we're not gonna have an anchor.
I'm gonna cut his line.
You want me to just untie theirs right here?
There's the whole sea and they had to park right beside.
Just pull it up and see what we can do. Yeah.
You want to cut it?
Just in case you were wondering, this is Judah in high irritation mode, scheming to cut these poor guys' anchor lines so that we could just get on with our day. You know, as annoyed as I was, I'll admit that these guys were being pretty cooperative with us.
I mean, what are we gonna do here, guys? Your whole boat is wrapped around my anchor line.
Let us go down and I'll undo it.
How are you gonna undo it?
And how long is that going to take?
Your anchor's wrapped around the line.
No, we're anchored up. You anchored up and wrapped around us, so your line is totally on our line.
If you lift up your motor, I can swing the boat around this way because I went around this way.
If you drive this way, it'll come off.
All right, I'll do that.
Well, boys and girls, this has been fun.
I almost cut their anchor line.
You wanted some drama for this?
That would have been some drama. Just had to cut your line, guys.
Oh, don't worry about it. We got it free.
All in all, given the ridiculousness of the situation, everyone played it pretty cool. No harm, no foul, guys.
These people have to be island people. Because they were fighting and at the same time they were so chill. This thing in Miami would have become a gunfight.
We drifted for a little while longer before turning around to pick up Molly and Tom. We hadn't seen any Wahoo that morning, but who knows, maybe we'll get lucky with an afternoon drift. I let everyone else get into the water first once again. I dropped down a jig and pulled up a nice mackerel while everyone was in the water.
Nice.
I was hanging out on the boat with Christine and Molly, and it looked like they wanted some girl time, so I jumped at the opportunity to get in the water. Jose shoots a kingfish and it gets sharked.
It was big. It was a nice one. It was like the size of a Wahoo.
Great. I hope I don't shoot a Wahoo and have the same experience. I dropped a throw flasher and a big Wahoo swims up. It was a long shot, but I aimed high and fired, hitting the Wahoo perfectly.
Wahoo, baby.
The fish made a beeline down into the murky depths towards the sharks, dragging the float down with it. Tom drops down and keeps an eye out for any sharks that might be coming in trying to steal my fish.
Yeah, baby. Nice. Thanks for the assist, Tom. Woo.
Nice one, Judah.
I secured my fish for the day and for the tournament.
Oh, this one's big.
It's a beast carrying this thing around while chasing a fish. First Wahoo on my new gun. Oh man, that was awesome.
That thing took off.
Yeah. I swam so hard after him.
I didn't even think you could have gotten it because I shot mine, boom, and boom, it disappeared.
Yeah. His took off like towards the top. Yours was deep, so I think the sharks had a better chance of it.
Judah Clark, October 17th. Got a Wahoo submission. She's gonna measure in 52 inches. Witnesses: Lawrence Arasua, Molly and Tom Stowe, Christine Bartiainen, and Jose. You. Thanks, bro. Multiple assists there. Damn, it's hot ass water. 85 degrees and we just shot a Wahoo.
It's 85?
84.6 it says.
Yeah.
Blow lines out.
Jose shoots a Wahoo as well. I guess he figured out how to aim today.
That thing was angry. Nice.
Our 2-day Wahoo excursion ended in a great success with 3 nice fish to feed everyone, and a good bit left over to feed our families, which is what it's really all about. And at this point, Christine was still holding firm in first place for the women's division.
2 Wahoo in the boat.
That's 3 Wahoo in 2 days. Not bad.
Good job, man. Thank you.
And even though the others missed out this time, they were instrumental in helping the rest of us secure our fish. Spearfishing, just like our company Presto Restoration, restoring the exteriors of commercial high-rise buildings nationwide, is a team endeavor. And who you have on your team is everything. We get back at nightfall and Mother Nature helps us rinse off the gear.
Yeah. Today was a good day.
Today wasn't just a good day, it was an important one for me. The longer the fish, the more points you earn. By nature, Wahoo are a long fish, so adding those 52 inches gave me a jump from 6th place in the tournament all the way up to 1st. With only a few days left in the game and out of around 100 players, I was tied with 2 other guys with 16 fish, and each of us only needed 1 fish to win. I needed to land my final fish, which just so happened to be the most difficult fish in the game. The tuna, either a blackfin or yellowfin tuna. It was ironic that I was the sponsor for the tuna category for the game, and I hadn't even yet gotten one in 275 days of playing. That's how difficult it is to get one. I wanted another shot in the deep Gulf and ultimately at my yellowfin tuna. This time I decided to try out a Destin instead of Pensacola, since it was just as far away from where we wanted to explore, and it was the off-season in Destin. That means it's the cheaper, much less busy time of the year. I never really explored that area before, but I always wanted to.
All right, let's go.
We're gonna get a tuna. I mean, what I'm hoping for is that we find them, we chum them up, and they're coming up into our stuff. You take one, your sister takes one.
You were chumming like that last time we went out there, right? And we didn't see any.
Sometimes you chum and nothing happens. Sometimes you chum and it's on fire. When was that we were in Pensacola? That was like midsummer. All right, just got here to Destin. I rented a place for a month on the water with easy access out to the open ocean. Woo, feeling good.
Everything's in our favor.
We have been blessed by some amazing weather.
Calm seas, clear water,
Clear skies.
going down.
Got Victoria and Dylan that are going to be flying in tonight, and then we've got to get out early for our first day. It's going to be a good time. And as we try to hold on to our first place lead, Kristen and I, kind of forces you to push forward towards trips that you may not exactly want to do at the time, but you have to do to win.
What are you doing? Kimber.
Just a little chilly. There's Destin. You can see that's the inlet right there. We're going way out. Way out there is going to be big tuna, big mahi, big wahoo. But hopefully, we're going to go out there, we're going to stick 3 pigs and come home. I hired Dylan to drive for us so that the twins and I could concentrate on diving. The only problem was I only had him for 3 days because he had to go back to work at Murray Marine. And Victoria was starting a new job as a nurse, so we needed to be very efficient with our time. I don't want to bang the boat up at everybody, but we want to go as fast as possible. I don't care about this motor, like just don't feel like you got to baby it.
Alright.
I mean, I care about the motor.
Yeah, I know what you mean. You want to get out there.
Yeah. Famous last words. the first of our 3 days with my crew and the final days in the tournament, and I'm feeling good.
Competition is getting thick. Beautiful thing is the weather is like great up here. Down there it's a little windy.
Yeah.
I'm a little burnt out from month after month of moving around and diving so much, but in good spirits. We head out of the inlet and we're a good 10 miles out into our trip when I needed to make a liquid transfer. I'm leaning on the motor doing my business and I see a small oil slick coming out of the back. That's odd. I've never seen that before and that can't be good. We needed to open her up and make sure everything was good, and wow, we have a major problem. There is oil everywhere.
What the hell, man?
It's leaking down here by the filter.
I just wiped this, and now it's back. Look.
Yeah.
What's the oil level?
It's showing down at the bottom, dude. Not what you want to see.
We decided to call it and head back towards camp.
Well, this sucks.
It does suck, but it could have been worse. Now, it wouldn't be wise to head out 80 miles out. No cell phone signal. Well, damn, man. Ready when you are, Cap.
All right.
Damn. Is this how the game was going to end for us? Another motor problem? I didn't have any mechanics this far north that I could normally call on, and Destin is so far away from any area that I normally fish. There was no way I could take my boat to any of them. And this wasn't a minor problem. There was oil everywhere.
So it's a slow leak? I mean, that was a lot of oil to be a slow leak.
Yeah, just depends on how long it's been doing that for.
After talking to a number of people, I find out that Bass Pro Shops was the biggest mercury dealer in the area. But every time I called them, I couldn't get through to anyone. I told everyone to get dressed. We were going down there to see if they could help us out. And I wanted the twins front and center for this.
Okay, on the way to Bass Pro. Apparently Bass Pro Shop's the only place that has a part that could fix the boat. And we have to beg and see if they can get us in there to fix us. Oh man, it sucks. 3 days of perfect weather, had everything all set up. We're 10 miles out and spring a leak with oil. Okay girls, so when we get out, I want y'all front and center. Looking cute, smiling, whipping the hair, the ponytails back and forth. You know how you do that? You're walking and it goes whoop.
I think your hair naturally just moves back and forth when you walk.
We get to Bass Pro Shops and there are 3 men at the front desk. I asked them if they've ever heard of me or the Fisher twins, and they had not. Well, let me explain who we are and what we're doing, hoping that our story would trigger an interest for a bit of free publicity. And it worked. They said that they would move some things around, but we needed to get the boat to them ASAP, and that's exactly what we did.
Any of us are like, no.
I think that went very well. At first they were like, yeah, okay, maybe, yes, bring it. We can maybe even get to it today. It's probably a pretty quick fix, you think?
I'd imagine so.
We shall see.
Victoria's the mean one.
Yeah, I mean, look at all that, damn. That's a mess.
I got all this work.
Thank you, guys. Yeah. That's so awesome, man.
They're like, we'll get you back on the water today if need be.
Boat is fixed. Let's go get this puppy.
They had us completely fixed up and in the same day, within a few hours, and we were able to pick up the boat and get back in the action. Like a well-oiled pit crew at NASCAR, they were there for us. And it couldn't have gone any smoother.
Save the show. You guys want to be on the YouTube? No? Well, I'm feeling good this morning.
Second day we head out to the fads and scanning the area, but we're not seeing much action.
I was the first to move something, but not really. Yeah, I'm not feeling it. Any fads? See anything, Victoria?
In these vast blue bodies of water, it can be difficult and time-consuming to find fish. We spend the entire day jumping from fad to fad, and sadly day 2 of our destined trip ended in a total bust. We now only had 1 day left with Dylan and Victoria, and I was getting nervous. The pressure was on.
Only way I'm gonna win is if I get a yellowfin tuna tomorrow.
Day 3. We had 2 days left of decent weather and one last day with all 4 of us, so we had to definitely make the most out of this trip.
People are submitting fish left and right. It's down to final couple of days, cutting it real close.
This was it. And then I get a little bit of bad news.
This guy just submitted a cubera yesterday that puts him tied for the amount of fish shot, but his points are now over my points by 20 something. So if I get a yellowfin, I'll probably win. If I get a blackfin, I may win. If I don't get anything today, we've lost. Or we haven't lost, we just don't get first place. We get a participation prize because second place is first loser, everybody knows that.
Damn it. One of my main competitors shot a cubera and jumped him up to first, dropping me down to second place. We had no room for error today.
Water's nice and clear.
We make it to the first fad and we pull up and we see that there are fish everywhere.
Now this is more what I'm looking for. You got a bunch of big marks right there.
That's fishy.
That's a school of smaller fish. The big fish are all the way up at like 50, 60 foot. That's what the shit looked like when I saw the tuna. Those are tuna. Let's get suited up. Y'all get in when you're ready. Beautiful.
This was a good sign. Not only did we find some fish, but we found them early in the day, so we had enough time to put some work in. We jump in and all of a sudden we see Wahoo everywhere, and Christine lines up on a school, but then doesn't take the shot. Christine already had a Wahoo, and she wanted to allow her sister Victoria to get one for the tournament, so she didn't want to spook the school.
Yeah, Wahoo!
I know, Victoria! Victoria, there's Wahoo.
I yelled at Victoria, there's a Wahoo, get one. She throws her throw flasher and dives down and lines up on a fish. I couldn't see the fish, so I didn't think she was close enough for a shot, but she fires and the Wahoo takes off.
Ah, you hit him, Victoria!
The chase is on.
It's coming your way! Coming your way!
She gently pulls on the fish to secure it, and it felt good once she finally got a hold of it. Making this trip worth her while, and getting her a lot closer to the top 2 position. And as a Wahoo has a lot of points being such a long and slender fish.
Yeah! Woo-hoo-hoo! Yeah, girl! Nice fish, Victoria. Nice. Woo, come on, tuna.
Game on. Just after Victoria shoots her Wahoo, Christine shoots a nice mahi as well.
Oh, nice.
Wasn't a fish she could enter for the game since she already had a large mahi, but it was a nice fish to put on the grill.
Getting down to the final hour. I need a damn tuna.
finally find where there are some tuna, and I dive down to 107 foot and see a massive school of blackfin tuna. Everything is perfect, and I'm lining up for a shot in my final fish in the game. And then, my camera dies. Nothing will ruin my current situation more than my camera dying. Everything changes. I decided not to take the shot so I wouldn't spook the fish. No big deal. I just needed to go back up, get a new camera, do it all over again. But there was only one problem. Each dive to over 100 foot I made, it seemed like the fish moved deeper and deeper, and I just couldn't reach them anymore. It was like I had taken the shot and spooked them, and my legs started cramping. You could only make so many dives past 100 foot before your body starts to have enough.
Let's say we go.
I decided to call it quits to conserve my energy for the following day. The weather had a good forecast, but I wouldn't be able to take advantage of that weather if my legs were all shot from pushing it too hard today.
Shit, we ought to come out tomorrow. Chum heavy, drop down and get a tuna and call it a day.
It was just going to be Christine and I, which meant me diving alone. But it was a chance I was going to have to make. This is a sunset 83 miles from home. Why are you laughing at me?
Take 4.
We ended the day watching a beautiful sunset, having a bite to eat, and laughing about the day and the experiences we had.
Damn shame I didn't have my tuna. But you know what? Lining up on those tuna, the camera turned off, that's part of the story.
Well, didn't think I was gonna get a Wahoo. I didn't think so either.
A lot.
We're all surprised. I'm just kidding.
Well, I wasn't really taking the tournament like that seriously, but then now I'm like, damn, I have 11 fish. I'm like only 2 fish behind first and second.
Well, it was a good day, folks. Hopefully tomorrow I'll get a tuna. All right, we're ready to roll. So, I have to go back out tomorrow. We got 2 more days. Tomorrow's calm. The following day after that, the 5th, is rough and undoable. It's just gonna be me and Christine will be driving the boat and I'll be in the water. So what I'll do is I'll drift, hope to see something a little shallower, get a shot. If not, then it just wasn't meant to be.
Dylan and Victoria have to get back to work, and they head back down South Florida. It's just Christine and I, and not only do we have only 2 days left in the competition, but my energy levels are not what I'd like them to be. And honestly, I just wanted to call it quits. I was in second place in the tournament with 16 fish, and there were 2 other guys in hot pursuit of winning. It would be a foolish move to think that they might not get another fish in the final last days of the game.
Couple of things that I could have done throughout the year that I'd be sitting on top.
Beating myself up about not taking that shot on the tuna when I had the opportunity to. I should have taken the shot. I should have shot it off camera and landed my 17 fish in the tournament, and then tried to land another one to get it on film. But at that moment in time, I was confident I could recreate the situation. But at this moment in time, I wasn't feeling so confident. All I cared about was getting that tuna, the final fish in the tournament. Ironically, the one fish I was sponsoring in the game, and throughout the entire year I was yet to get one. But that's why I like this species so much. It's the most challenging to land and the most rewarding if you get one. The game wasn't over yet. I'd found them the day before, and hopefully I could find them again.
Ooh yeah, those are some big marks. So I'm gonna get suited up.
Another 3-hour ride, and we were out at the spot and going through the gear. Damn, a Apparently when I was loading up the wetsuit, something Christine normally does, I forgot my wetsuit bottoms. Damn it. How could I be so stupid?
Yeah, I did. I checked both top and bottom and looked and saw that they were men's. Large.
I was screwed. I just lost the game because I made an idiotic mistake of forgetting my wetsuit bottoms. And this is one of those dumb moves that make you realize you just got caught with your pants down. Literally. There was no time to go back. We had a late start and we'd have to fuel up again, and it was not going to happen. And then I had an idea. I wonder if I could fit into Christine's bottoms and they would work just enough to get the job done.
Extra small bottoms. My nuts are going to be so tight.
I don't know. Going from a men's large to a woman's extra small seemed like a stretch. But stretch they did, as the neoprene and its elasticity wrapped over my legs better than I could have imagined. It certainly wasn't comfortable, but it was more comfortable than diving in my shorts to 107 foot, which is where I saw the tuna the day before. The deeper you go, the colder the water gets, and it was freezing down there.
Oh, so cold. There's definitely going to be water running down into my pants. This is called petering out. And you should be taking a break, but you're in some freaking tournament that has you keep on pushing.
I get into the water and set up the drift with my extra small bottoms, squeezing every part of my manhood. I tried not to think about it as I breathed up and started to relax for my dive, maybe up to 110 foot. I removed the snorkel from my mouth and made my dive, trying to relax every muscle on my body, sinking into the depths. I see a large, dark shadow before me, and then it materializes into a large school of blackfin tuna. I lined up for a shot, but there were so many fish to pick from, and every one of them seemed to be coming in and out of effective range so quickly. Experience has me pick one and fire, and to my surprise, the moment I pulled the trigger, the shaft went straight through the fish, and it was the perfect shot. Fish took off, and I made my way to the surface, looking at my watch and amazed to see that I didn't have to dive down past 100 foot today. I got to the surface.
Fish on!
Found these fish at 73 foot, and it felt like a piece of cake. Not only that, but I got them on film, without it ripping off or a shark stealing it from me on my final fish of the tournament.
Woo-hoo! It's a beauty. First dive, 73 feet. Let's go home.
I now had 17 fish and was the first person in the game to achieve it. Isn't that funny? On the last dive day, I finally get a tuna, the fish I was sponsoring for the tournament.
An extra small bottom still.
Did you see like a big school of them, or?
Yeah, about 200. Woo! Yes! Man, the highs and lows of fishing. I literally thought this wasn't gonna happen when we forgot my bottom.
I was literally like looking at the sky and like, let him get a tuna. And then like you came up with a tuna.
That's how shit works, babe. I mean, not as big as I'd like, but...
Well, at least now you're in first place.
Again.
Just like that, I was back on top, baby. First place.
Woo! First drop of the day. It took all this time to get 17 fish. The only way it could get any better is if I got a yellowfin tuna. But this is the coolest fish in the tournament, because when you get one of these, it's just awesome.
Only 4 or 5 people have been successful in landing a blackfin tuna this year, and no one had submitted a yellowfin tuna, although I almost did. And what a beautiful day out on my first dive. Everything was absolutely perfect, except for me having to wear Christine's extra small bottoms. Okay, everything was almost perfect.
Yes! Yes! Let's go try for a yellowfin tuna.
We could have called it quits right there, but after traveling 80 miles out there, Let's continue to try and land that yellowfin tuna.
That would be even better. We get a blackfin, submit that today, and then submit a yellowfin tomorrow and be like, boom!
Started driving around to check the other fads and came across some whales to make the day even more magical than it already was.
Oh, is that a whale? I think that's a whale.
No.
I think I just saw a whale blow a hole.
That's a whale?
That's a whale.
Checking fad after fad, we find one that may have some yellowfin tuna. But we come to the realization that there just wasn't much time left in the day, even though it seemed like we just got out there.
What's up, buddy? Long time no see. I missed you. Been a minute, huh? Oh, this looks really fishy, babe. It's a lot of bait. It looks like some kind of yellowfin right there. I got a real good feeling about it. This is the one where we shot the yellowfin before. I'm definitely getting in here.
I'm doing a drift in the area that I think might hold some fish, and I'm chumming heavy, breathing up, waiting for the right opportunity to make a drop. As I'm looking down, I see a yellowfin tuna. Deep, real deep. Probably 125 foot deep. Deeper than I was prepared to dive by myself.
I saw some yellowfin tuna. Yeah.
I finally found the yellowfin tuna on the last day of my trip. Exhausted and with my team cut in half. Damn. I made one last deep dive and just couldn't reach anywhere close to the depth. Thank God it was so easy to get that tuna earlier in the day because I was starting to feel spent, and only after a handful of dives.
They were deep, but it's so cool because they turn sideways and you can see their body and you can see the sickles. Plain as day, definitely yellowfin tuna.
We decided to call it quits and head back in the dark. But this time feeling a lot different since we were successful in getting our blackfin tuna.
I've never been so happy in my life to catch one little blackfin tuna on such a costly adventure. But she's a game-winning fish. Thanks to my girl here, Christine Bartiani. I can't wait to post that shit. All right, we are 82.3 miles from home. It's gonna be a long ride. Probably not gonna go as fast as I normally go. We out of here.
The high I was on lasted the entire evening. I was proud of myself, and my girl was proud of me too. What a great story this would make, whether I win or not. In the final hour, I pulled through and landed all 17 fish, extra small pants and all.
December 4th, Judah Clark. With a tuna submission, saving the best for last. Tape pulled, coming in at 25 1/4. That is my 17th and final fish for the Florida Spearfishing Tournament.
As it stands, I'm again in first place and the only player that has obtained all 17 fish, but with 2 other players having 16 fish and right on my tail. Either one of those guys could land their final fish as well and potentially steal that first place for me within the next 24 hours. We went to bed that night feeling accomplished, but not confident that I had won. As we're deciding whether or not to go out one last day for yellowfin tuna, I see 2 posts from 2 other players that were hot on my tail. There was 3 of us that now had 17 fish for the year.
Oh, just when you thought it was over.
Apparently, the 2 other players were working just as hard as me to get to the top, and one of those players shot a Wahoo, first Wahoo of their life, and that fish inched them above me in points, taking first place. But there was still 1 day left in the game.
If we pull a Hail Mary and it works out, we could take this shit.
If we left now, we'd get to where we saw the yellowfin just hours before, and I could possibly take back first place, but it would be close.
Like, my Wahoo was pretty long, and that was 50 inches. Like, 80 inches is really, really long.
We're talking about a yellowfin tuna, babe.
I know.
Yellowfin tuna can go fast, about 59 to 88 inches long. So it's quite possible. So basically I need another 53 points to win. It's 79 inches today to win. It'd have to be a big-ass yellowfin tuna.
It would also be dangerous because those fish are down 125 foot, a depth I could reach if I was rested, but I wasn't. I was tired and my legs were on the verge of cramping. And Christine and I were the only ones here in Destin, and I would have to dive alone. And attempting that depth by myself could cost me my life.
Well, you know what we could do? It's just not get first place, put this feather in the hat for next year, and come back again and have some, new adventure next year.
Christine had an earache, my legs were sore, we were both tired, and the boat was falling apart. I decided it was not worth dying over or senselessly beating us up over a desperate attempt to win. When it came down to it, we should be proud of what we accomplished. The next day, the results are in. Christine won first place in the female division, and myself, I landed second place. And if I had landed that yellowfin tuna or was able to submit that cobia, I would have surely won first place. Out of all that we did right all year long, it came down to just 2 moments in time where success was at my fingertips, but just out of grasp.
I've got some local guys that have lived down here in Key West their entire lives and know all the spots and have it all dialed in. Now here I am, the guy from Georgia, only 3 years under my belt.
I didn't even have any idea that I would even get anywhere close to second place when I started.
I mean, that's hard. There's a lot of really, really good people.
I was thinking like 10th place maybe.
I just had no clue. And now I know where we stand against some of the best spearfishing men and women in Florida. And Victoria was also close behind in third, although she would have made second place if she would have had her measuring tape when she shot that first permit. Christine and I had a blast this past year traveling all over Florida and hunting these fish. And the task was a lot more difficult than I had originally thought, obtaining all 17 species.
It's alright, someday you'll be in first place like me.
That's right, I will. And then we'll be king and queen of the Florida spearfishing competition.
Out of 100 people, only 3 people were able to get all 17 fish. I felt we really came a long way, and it made us a lot better divers and hunters. We experienced things and places we never would have experienced without this tournament motivating us. And Christine broke a woman's world record red snapper while doing it.
That was a nice cobia you got in Key West, Victoria.
You never would have landed that cobia if it weren't for me. I know, even though it took you 10 minutes to get over there, I'm glad you came through, Christine. Yeah, and the least you could have done was let me shoot my hogfish.
Oh.
I mean, that's what we came out there for.
And you were like 5 fish ahead of her, Christine. I mean, what,
Yeah, I won anyways.
Well, looking back on it now, it's funny, especially because you didn't even need the fish anyway. There was some tension there.
But next year, we could give it another shot. And knowing what we know now, we'd have a lot better shot at winning top dog in the Florida Spearfishing Tournament.
This next year, we're gonna dominate. Wow, what a ride that was, huh? Woo!